Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat shit, Tucker.
And that was your last.
God damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
Oh, I can explain the bed thing. A nest in one of my penthouses, and I had to pry a steak.
It's like Jesus going into the temple. He's like, I got a whip. Get out! Get out!
I would have thrown them all off the balcony.
Megan Fox.
She's the devil. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
There's something about the way that you say my name. Make me forget everything when you call
Megan.
Megan Fox. Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a bitch like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy shit. Holy shit.
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's
You pissed off the wrong woman.
oh my God, I have been assaulted. What are you gonna do when Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother?
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox has the story.
I'm Megan.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
Thank
you. Cheers.
Well, look, bitch, you're not serious either. You didn't even do the paperwork in time.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Fox. I hope my microphone is turned up loud enough. Can you hear me? How's it going? How are you this morning? I'm doing fine, and I guess it could be afternoon or evening too, because I have a lot of international listeners as well. Speaking of, I have an exciting announcement to make, but I have to introduce to you today my new producer. Her name is Leah Geo, and she is from Down Under, and I love her. She's been so fantastic, and she's been up all night. So, Leah, if you need to go to sleep, just do it. Go to sleep. By the way, I agree. Someone in the chat just said that you guys like the opening, and someone said, and the maniacal laugh with rackets over publication. There is nothing that makes me laugh harder than listening to me and Rackets laughing together, which is why I put it in there. All right, Leah says she's alive. Thank God she's alive, because she has done something really amazing for me today. We have to get right to it, but before we get to our topic, because the topic is important. But before we get to our topic, there is a Damar Hamlin update. You know, Sunday football was last night. You guys know I'm a Bills fan. You know I'll be watching the Bills whenever they're on. But there is some controversy that happened at the game. Now, Damar Hamlin, by the way, is recovering. He's going to make a full recovery. It's a freaking miracle. He has no brain damage. He's breathing on his own. He's sitting up, watching the game, tweeting, everything. So thank God for that. We're thrilled that Damar Hamlin is going to be okay. Hang on one second. Let's see here. I got to share my screen with you. But there is some controversy because at yesterday's game against the Patriots, it appears that some people are saying that the opening kickoff touchdown because it was a kickoff. They caught the kickoff and then the Bills ran it all the way to the end zone. And it's a lot of people are saying that does not look real. It looks scripted, and we're going to take a look. I have some feelings on this, and we're going to talk about it. So let's see. Let's see. Here it is.
Same thing. 6 days.
Let's go to the beginning.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Miami, and the Jets were underway as New England decided to defer after winning the toss. And here's Hines on the run back, breaking a tackle and taking it past midfield. And down the sideline he goes. This is storybook. An opening kickoff return for Damar Hamlin. And this place is absolutely going wild.
Oh, you just said this is storybook. This is almost fate.
Did he say almost fate or almost fake?
Can't believe what just happened. Josh Allen, the same thing. 6 days removed from this incredible
Can't believe it.
scene that we saw with the Bills player down in Cincinnati, and now.
Now, let me say, I don't want to believe that this is not real. Okay, I want to believe that this is real. Okay? Oh no, scripted AF. Oh no, almost fake. I want to believe that this is not scripted. However, I went back and I watched it again and again and again. I want to believe that this really happened, but here's what I think. I think maybe it's not scripted, but I think maybe the Patriots didn't try so hard. Because I want you to pay attention to number 6, okay? Do you see number 6 right here? Pay attention to this guy right here. Because he is basically at a slow jog. And number 18, I think, right here comes flying by him at one point. So let's watch just keep your eye on number 6. I might believe that this guy over here just couldn't run that fast. But watch this guy right here. Here we go again.
A tackle and taking it past midfield and down the sideline he goes.
Why couldn't he have gotten him right there? Wait, let's go back. Let's go back. Number 6 and number 18. Number 6, it's just like slowly jogging. Number 18 goes flying by number 6. Number 38, maybe whoever that is. I don't even know who that is.
Taking it past midfield and down the sideline.
No. See, it's right here where I have a problem with it. Right
Taking
here.
it past midfield and down the sideline he goes.
Why is number 18 running so fast that he blows right past 6? Is it me? Is it me that sees this? Okay, I'm number 6 is he's the kicker. All right, well that could make sense why he doesn't run that fast. Okay. All right. Kickers aren't fast. Okay. All right. No, well I hope not. Sinbad, I hope not. I hope football is not turning into pro wrestling. That would be disappointing. I hope not. No way they ran out of gas. All right. Well, if he's a kicker, yeah, no, I didn't know he was the kicker though. So maybe that makes sense. Touchdown on paper, unrunning. Maybe they but then again, would the Patriots really give up a touchdown on the very first play? So I'm conflicted. When is the last time I sprinted 40 yards? It's been a long time, PD. A long time. 200 Watch Studio, thanks for the super chat, says couple of Northeast or New England guys didn't want to be the dudes that killed him again. Well, that wasn't Hamlin. That was just a guy making a play for Hamlin. He said he was dedicating the game to Hamlin. Hamlin was watching from the hospital. He is not back yet. So let's just watch it again in its entirety. And I really truly want to believe that this happened. But then again, and this goes towards the column of it being real. It happened twice. Twice in this game was a kickoff return for a touchdown by the Bills in this game. 2 times. So I don't know. Maybe they just had their mojo going. They're just feeling it. They're just so happy that Damar is doing better. But we'll watch it one more time and then we'll move on to our main topic.
On Pittsburgh and Cleveland,
but
Miami.
Particularly listen to the announcers because they are not helping matters. They keep saying storybook, scripted, fate, storybook, scripted, I mean, come on.
And the Jets were underway as New England decided to defer after winning the toss. And here's Hines on the run back, breaking a tackle and taking it past midfield. And down the sideline he goes. This is storybook. An opening kickoff return for tomorrow.
I love this part.
And this
I love that he jumps into the crowd. It's fantastic.
Wild.
The crowd loves
you
it
just
so
said
much.
This is storybook. This is almost fate. I just can't believe what just happened. Josh Allen, the same thing. 6 days removed from this incredible
Can't believe it.
scene that we saw with the Bills player down in Cincinnati, and now
You have to believe the Patriots do not want to give up a touchdown. Like, they don't want to do that on purpose. They still want to win, right?
An incredible
Hines.
script.
It's
it's
can't
almost
make
fate,
it up.
right?
It
was
is
almost
fate.
like it was going to happen. And you know that wave of emotion, sometimes it hits, it can go either way.
It was almost like it was going to happen. Did he just say that? It was almost like it was going to happen. Like, what?
What a start.
Extra point is good. Can you believe it? After all that's happened in these last 6 days, the emotional downs.
Yeah, so okay, so that's that, and I care about it. That's why I'm talking about it, because I like the Bills, and I want to believe with all my heart it's not fixed. All right, he said faith. It's almost faith. Yeah, I don't know. Phyllis? Why would the Patriots do that though? Slow motion to piano music now. All right, we have to get moving. But first, I told you all that Leah Gio is here with me. She's producing the show. She's from down under. She's had no sleep all night. And she has put together something amazing. Leah used to be not only a police officer, but a broadcaster in Australia. She used to be on the radio. So she's just the perfect match for me. And she's made us something to go into our first topic about Harry and Meghan, because hashtag Harry is mad is trending everywhere. And why is that? Because Prince Harry, or can we even call him Prince Harry anymore? I'm not sure. But Prince Harry's new book has been leaked. And Leah Gio, well, she's got the inside, because she's got a couple pages and she's going to narrate them for us. And let me tell you, folks, it's full of drama. You might think that it was written by one of those Harlequin romance novels. Here we go.
Before we get started, shall we introduce ourselves? That's always very polite, isn't it? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And again, deep gratitude to our wonderful, wonderful subscribers. Shall we take a look at some of the wonderful things we all have to look forward to in Prince Harry's upcoming book? Or is it just Harry now? No? Prince Harry? Well, who could be really sure? Maybe Meghan's coffee boy. Let us continue. They discussed his Oprah Winfrey interview from weeks earlier. Harry claims he tried to reason with his brother and father and wanted to discuss bullying allegations against wife Meghan. But they weren't listening, he said, and he was turning away to say goodbye. He says William, who was really steaming, shouted at him, "You never came to us. You never came to me." Harry expressed his feelings over their Megxit agreement being violated when William shouted he should take it up with Granny. Harry wrote, "I waved my hand, disgusted, but he lunged, grabbed my shirt. Listen to me, Harold." I pulled away. I refused to meet his gaze. He forced me to look into his eyes. And listen to me, Harold. Listen, I love you, Harold. I want you to be happy. Harry claims he fired back with, "I love you too. But your stubbornness is extraordinary." He pulled out of William's grasp, but claims his brother grabbed him again and twisted him to maintain eye contact. He says in the book, "Harold, You must listen to me. I just want you to be happy, Harold. I swear on Mummy's life. He stopped. I stopped. Pa stopped. He'd gone there. He'd used the secret code, the universal password. Ever since we were boys, those 3 words were to be used only in times of extreme crisis. Harry, who, while describing this encounter, called Will's his arch nemesis and pointed out his alarming baldness, said he was ready at that point to fly back to the US to be with Meghan. He wrote, Willie wasn't quite ready to accept defeat. I felt properly sick and ill after everything that's happened, and I swear to you now on Mummy's life that I just want you to be happy. Harry added. My voice broke as I told him softly, I really don't think you do.
Leah Gio, producer extraordinaire of the Megan Fox Investigate show, has done that for you. She voiced that narrative. I personally think they should hire her to do the audiobook version. Wow. So there you have it, folks. We've had Harry's book called Spare. By the way, it's called Spare. No, it's not me. It's Leah, I swear. I swear it's not me. This book called Spare now has been leaked. I tell you, it's been leaked. And according to sources, of course, Harry and Meghan are always just horrified when stuff is leaked. But of course, guess where it was leaked to? It was leaked in New York, by the way, to a New York office of the Guardian, which kind of, I don't know, in my opinion means maybe she leaked it herself. You think? I think. All right. So let's get to it. His Harry, the name of his book is Spare, which Leah explained to me. The way she heard it was like, he feels like a spare part, like a spare tire. Yes, Spain got it first. No, it was leaked to the New York office of the Guardian. I think they also released it in Spain. Air and a spare. All right, we have to get to it. I have so much to cover. Seriously, I have to stop talking. All right. This is one of the nuttiest clips you're ever going to see. Let's pull this up because this we have to watch. We just have to.
What Meghan had to go through was similar in some part to what Kate and what Camilla went through. Very different circumstances. But then you add in the race element, which was what the British press jumped on straight away. I went into this incredibly naive. I had no idea the British press was so bigoted. Hell, I was probably bigoted before the relationship with Meghan.
What?
You think you were bigoted before the relationship with Meghan?
I don't know. Put it this way, I didn't see what I now see.
You were a bigot? Did you see Anderson Cooper's face? Wait a minute. You think you think you were a bigot? What? I know. How come he never understands that like people just don't like her? Like it has nothing to do with anything other than people really just don't like her, Harry. I'm sorry, they don't. And like he's just, man. Okay. when you're a bigot and don't know it, by the way, Leah has made another contribution to the program today. This was her idea. Say it. I'm a bigot. Wait, I have to make it bigger. Say it, Harry. I'm a bigot. This is the education that his wife was giving him on the daily. It's apparently teaching him that he's a bad, bad boy. He needs some discipline. Thank you, Leah. Say it. Oh, this is funny. She's his bigot bitch. Oh, Leah, you kill me. Okay, so we have some more about the claims in the book. Now, some of them are not so funny. One of the claims in the book that he is going around making is his kill count in Afghanistan, which is a thing that no one does. No one runs around saying how many people they killed in a war. It's gross. It's bad. And he did it. So let's take a look at this, because this is pretty terrible.
I want to bring in tonight's panel, and I'm pleased to be joined by Federal Liberal Vice President Tina McQueen and Sky News contributor Prue McSween. Look, I'm always hesitant when I've got you both either side of me, but let's talk.
We'll be gentle with you guys.
Firstly, I know, just be gentle. I've got my Jane McGrath shirt on, you know. So now let's talk about this book. It's called Spare Me. I think that's the full title. Harry is certainly cheesing a lot of people off, picking off his family one by one, and now noting about the people that he killed in the Taliban. I mean,
God.
It's just so wrong.
Cringe.
It's lacking the honour of those who've served us in that conflict and others, don't you think?
Oh, 100%. But, you know, his biographer is probably, the ghostwriter, has obviously been cherry picking to see what he can do to make some headlines. And he probably said, oh, mate, how many did you kill? And that's how he probably discovered it. But, you know, there's no joy in killing people. And I must say that I think anyone who goes to war and has to do that, if it was me, I probably would do a body count, because I'd have to live with myself knowing that I had ended those lives. And you just have to say it was a situation of kill or be killed. And but look, the whole Spare Me tacky episode is doing him no honour whatsoever.
No, it's not. And Tina, I mean, the problem I've got, I get it. War is ugly, and I pay enormous respect to those who served in my name and our name in this country in far-flung places. But what Harry's done is, by opening his gob, he's made himself a target.
You gotta love the British.
Oh, he's made every member of the royal family a target, Gary. It's ridiculous. And I'm sure the part of the army he served in is disgusted that he's out there sprouting these figures. It really...
And the Taliban has responded, by the way. The Taliban has responded. So the Taliban is now upset about what he said. Yeah, you're right. Australians are British. You know, I'm learning here. I'm learning. But the Taliban is upset. And now, you know, they're going to try and retaliate, probably. Okay, hold on a second. So I didn't mean to stop sharing my screen. Let me get that back. Yeah, okay, I got to exit out of that. All right, here we go. All right, so the Taliban has responded. They put like a huge thing on Twitter about how those people that Harry killed, that they said were people with families, and, you know, but this is just a joke. Exclusive, the Taliban confirmed they will not seek to attack Prince Harry. A Taliban spokeswoman explained, "We cannot conceive of a worse punishment than a lifetime with Meghan." But I kind of, you know, way to go, Harry, making me feel, making me actually sympathize with the Taliban. Thanks a lot, Harry. I didn't think I'd see that day coming. But the truth is they were people with families. And to crow about how many people in the Taliban that you wasted during the war, during this awful time that no one really wants to even think about anymore, is just awful, and it's terrible. Anyway, so Meghan keeps making the same mistake over and over again with CRT. Okay, everything is racist according to her. Everything is racist. And I just wanted to play this because this is perfect. Perfect
I don't like
explanation.
Meghan. I really, really don't like Meghan. And what I don't like about the situation of Meghan is that anyone that says they don't like her, at least in this country, well, yeah, but anyone in this country that says they don't like her is accused of being racist just because she happens to be brown. It's almost as if she can do or say anything and she's above reproach because she's brown skinned. I find that repulsive. And for her to come over here and, I know you don't have a royal family in America, but you have a very high celebrity culture. And she's brought that over here and assumed somehow that that's what the royal family is. But no, they're a family rooted in duty, service, obligation, Christian values. And I don't know if she knows what any of those words mean. It's a great shame that Harry has fallen for her. I don't like.
And it's a great shame that Harry has fallen for her. I think a lot of people feel that way. But I'm I don't care about the royal family because I'm an American. So since you guys don't believe me that Leah Geo is real, why don't we bring Leah Geo in for a minute so Leah can tell you, because she's part of the British Empire. She's in Australia. Leah, welcome. Thanks for being here and all your hard work this weekend.
Oh, you're really welcome. Actually, I'm very. It's actually early hours in the morning here in Australia, and I've got to say, I'm quite. Can I say the word peeved off? I'm going to be very careful of what I'm going to say here. But as a member of the Commonwealth, I'm quite disgusted in the way things are going with the British and the royal family. And I think Meghan is an absolute narcissistic bitch. Can I just put that out there?
Yes, you can. You can. Well, I think it's hard for us to understand in America, like, why everyone cares about the royal family so much. I mean, we feel like we fought a war, so we don't have to have a royal family. And then yet at the same time, we still have our royal families. We have the Kennedys and the Bushes. And, they're trying to turn the Trumps into that. And I'm like, please, no more royal families in America. I don't like it. But the British people are very, very protective over the royal family, even though that Andrew is such a weirdo. Prince Andrew is such a weirdo. I don't know why you guys are so into it, but I can respect it.
Not really into it in Australia. We're not really into it as they are over in the UK. It's not.
It does feel a little heavier there, doesn't it?
That's all a bit much with the big castles and the splendor and all the airs and graces and the royal carriages and the gold that just is just everlasting. I mean, can we spread some of the wealth around? There's a hell of a lot of homeless people in the community. There's a bit much going just on, that shit ton of acreage that they have. I'm just,
It's true.
But in saying that, it's a terrible sadness to see the division in the family in that regard, because it has been, it's been something that we've had for many, many, many decades. And we had a great and dear affection for the passing of Queen Elizabeth, and a very sad day for us here. And we definitely felt it and loved the Queen. And also, I will mention Diana in respect of her.
Yes.
And she was a very special and important person in all of our lives, I think. And
what's interesting about that is that's the only reason why I care about this, is because these are Diana's boys we're talking about. We're talking about Diana's children, and the only reason why I care is because I have serious affection for Diana. I always did. Growing up, I was really taken with her. I thought she was a really special person. And here I thought she was very happy. As I was a child, I used to imagine what it was like to be her. And I would imagine this incredible life. And it turns out that she was incredibly sad all the time. And that made me feel terrible. And then to watch her boys going through this is just awful. Nobody wants to hate Harry. Like, I don't want to hate Harry. I want him to get a life. But then he goes and he marries this bitch. And, look,
I've got to really ask the question here. Is he looking for something in her that he has missed from his mum? I mean, I don't want to be kind of like, deep and meaningful here, but she's trying to play off this whole narrative where she's, out there in the community, and she's supporting all these, international things and advocating for everybody. And she's really going out into this role where she's sort of stepping into the shoes of Diana from what I can see. And she is nothing Nothing compared to Diana, who is just absolutely a beautiful person on the outside and most particularly on the inside. And I think that is what is missing from Meghan Markle, and she really needs to just rack off in the background and I
Rack
don't know.
off. I like that. I like rack off in the background. That's funny. She needs to rack off in the background.
I just, like, bye, get out of our faces. We've really heard enough about you. And, you sort of your tan skin and whatever else you've got going on and all your freaking complaints, just go away, woman. You're very annoying.
You're very annoying. Flux, thank you for the super chat. Says, I wanted so much for Harry to be awesome, but he's kind of a weenie. That's how I feel. I feel like I root for both these boys because they had a traumatic experience. Diana is just, was somebody very special. And I'm sure they loved their mother and were traumatized by all of that. And of course, we want them to be happy and well. And William seems to be doing good. He seems to be, grown up nicely and is a nice young man. But Harry, man, he is just all over the place. And unfortunately, he seems to be in some kind of arrested development where he hasn't quite matured. And then he gets himself hooked up with this woman who she's too American almost. Like it has not escaped my notice that it is kind of funny that an American has managed to do this much damage to the royal family. So this meme, you found this meme. You said this was going around in Australia. We found the cover of Harry's book.
Trending on Twitter in Australia yesterday. Yes, because this is trending. Number one, it has been for I think several weeks.
It says, I was born into incredible privilege with an unparalleled platform. I could have done amazing things in Africa and around the world. But now I smoke weed, I sit in my tacky Olive Garden mansion and watch my wife scroll through Twitter all day and Google charities she can attach to her name and truth to Harry the Spare.
The spare wheel.
But I think my favorite is this video. Of course, it's Tucker. Of course, Tucker Carlson. Let's play this because this cracks me up.
Well, it looks like Prince Harry and that woman from LA that he married are running out of money. How do we know that? Because they're still talking about themselves, selling the most boring little details from their boring little lives for more money. So to that end, Prince Harry has just resorted to telling us even more about a dramatic physical altercation he had with his brother, which wasn't actually that dramatic. Quote, he set down the water, called me another name, and then came at me, he says in his new book. But for some reason, a lot of media outlets in this country are deeply invested in the details of this boring man's boring life.
This boring man's
There's a quote in this book where you refer to your brother as your beloved brother and arch nemesis. Strong words. What did you mean by that?
There has always been this competition between us.
Between
weirdly.
brothers? No
I think
shit.
It really plays into, or is played by the heir spare.
Oh, so two brothers who had tension between them. Breaking news on Good Morning America. But if you're from Great Britain and these are the people who are supposedly, technically, the head of state of your country, what do you make of all
God,
of this?
I love Tucker.
Well, we thought it was time to check in with Father Calvin Robinson, who's an Anglican deacon from that country.
This
joins
guy
us
has the
tonight to
greatest
assess.
afro
Father,
I
thank
ever
you so
saw.
much for coming on. I mean,
I can't go to
how is this
confession
going
meeting.
over in your country?
Tucker, first of all, Happy New Year. How is it going over? I think we're all sick and tired of Harry and Meghan whining and moaning and going on and on. Well, most of us are anyway. At first, when I first saw these headlines, I thought, okay, this is annoying, this is frustrating. They're being disparaging about the monarchy again, which of course is family to them, but to us, it's an institution at the very fabric of our nation. But I'm past frustration. I actually feel sorry for Harry now. He's using really juvenile language. He seems quite immature, to be honest. I don't know any other grown man that talks about their private parts as their todger. You know, he talks about mounting a woman. And it's the kind of conversation I expect to hear in a primary school. Just in that clip you just showed, he talks about his brother as his arch nemesis. How many adults have an arch nemesis?
No one.
He seems to live in a fantasy
No
world.
one has an arch
in the
nemesis.
excerpts, we saw that Meghan was singing to seals, and Harry said she's magical because the seals sang back. Like these people are delusional. This is not good. They need to seek help. They need to stop talking to the press, stop airing their dirty laundry, and actually get some professional medical help.
I wonder. I mean, you're obviously a man of the cloth. What does it do to your soul if you never stop talking about yourself?
Exactly. It's the inner narcissism. It's not good. It eats away at you. And it's not just talking about yourself. It's the fact that they don't seem to take any agency for themselves either. There's no personal responsibility. You know, in a few of these excerpts, we've seen that Harry says, oh, actually, it was Will and Kate who made me wear that Nazi uniform. And you're thinking, you're a grown adult. You don't have to wear a Nazi uniform to a fancy dress party if you don't find it funny. You clearly chose to do so. Don't blame everyone else. And the same, you know, he goes on to say that he had this altercation with his brother. And this is a trained army serviceman who's saying, I had a fight with my brother. I had to go seek therapy for that. It's like, first of all, you are a killer. You're talking about how many people you've killed in service, which of course is
this
untruth.
is a very good point.
How many people they killed in service. But then on the other hand of the argument, you're saying, oh, I had an argument with my brother and I had to go and get therapy about it. None of it seems to add up. It's not balanced. He does need prayer. I think he needs all of our prayer. They both do. And they need something more professional too.
Oh, I love him. And I just think there's so much there.
There's so much in that. Look, here's a little bit of dating advice. I wouldn't go up to somebody and say, can I use my todger to mount you? I mean, please don't approach a woman like that. I don't think you'll have much success. May I mount you with my todger? Oh, Lord, that's quite extreme. No, thank you. I think I'll pass.
Okay, this is unbelievable. This is a euphemism I have never heard. I've never heard the word.
Yes, that is the word.
How do you spell this?
Yeah. Do you think I've ever actually spelt todger?
Is it
I've never written it on.
T-O-D-G-E-R? I mean,
I would imagine. Well, it sounds like Roger with a D, but a todger. I mean,
todger. I've never heard this.
Well, often here the male genitalia could be called a Roger. Yes. And you can get a good rogering at times.
A rogering. Okay.
A rogering.
Okay.
Yes. And so maybe
here in America, we call that a good pounding. I think.
Yeah, no, it's a rogering. So get your Roger and give me a good rogering. But I think maybe we've kind of just slanged it with the todger. Because, you know, we just make up shit as we go along in Australia because we don't exist.
Because, right, you're from a land that doesn't exist. And
we don't exist. I'm not really sitting on any earth.
Which, by the way, Leah, so for those of you who don't know, because you're just getting to know Leah Geo, she lives in the outback. She lives in the middle of nowhere where there are like 8,000 different types of deadly snakes trying to kill you at all times. I can't believe that snake thing that you posted on Twitter. Oh, and by the way, folks, if you're not following Leah on Twitter, you need to be. Let me share her page with you so you can go and find her and follow
You're not
her.
going to believe this because,
What?
you know, we were sort of chatting and show prepping and I went outside. It's so common for me. And there was actually a snake just across my back patio here. And
no.
It was, and the cat was trying to drag it through the cat flap. So I didn't really.
The cat was dragging it through the cat. What do you have, like Crocodile Dundee for a cat? I don't understand.
No, she really she's got a problem with bringing these darn things in the house. So
alive?
Pardon?
Are they alive when she brings them in?
Oh, yeah, it's alive, yeah. But what I did, because I was sitting here working with you, and then I was like, oh, shit. So I had to think very quickly, and I've got a large pair of kitchen tongs. You're not going to believe this.
Stop it! You did not.
No, I can't. I don't know if I can tell you this story.
You did not.
I did.
Go remove a deadly snake from your house with kitchen tongs.
I did. I had to. I can't shovel it in the house. I mean, the cleanup is going to be. I've got friends. I went over a girlfriend's place. I'm sorry, we're so off track here with the show right now.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. This is funny. Travel brochure. Come survive Australia.
So my girlfriend, her husband would work away in the mines and whatnot. She'd spend long periods of time, in their outback home, and she was with the children. She actually had the rifle in the house and the timber floors. She would just shoot the snake straight in through the timber floors. She literally had bullet holes in the floor. So yeah, no, I'm not shooting the timber floors, but I picked it up because they're like barbecue tongs. You know, when you have a Barbie.
Yes.
We don't throw a shrimp on the Barbie, by the way. You can cut that narrative. It's really old. It died years ago.
Links you do put on the Barbie for sure. Links. Sausages, links.
Lynx is a brand of deodorant. That would literally
So
blow
we're not
up on
even
the
speaking
barbecue.
the same language.
No, there's two different languages going on here. A snag is a sausage. So you throw a snag on the Barbie.
That sounds like
or if somebody's
like
a little bit and if somebody's a little bit short in the IQ department, we say they're a few snags short of a Barbie.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Coffee Cake, thanks for the super chat, says I'm old school. I so thought he'd be like Dr. John Carter, Noah A. Wiley from ER, that he'd go off and save the world. Harry, you thought he was going to be like that? Flux, thanks for the super chat, says Prince Harry and that woman from LA. That's what we should call her from now on. It's just that woman from LA. Oh God, was that funny? So funny. Thanks, Allie, for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Now I'm going to duck out and let you get back on with the show, Megan, because otherwise you'll get distracted. And
all right, well, follow Leah on Twitter, please, because she's making my show great again. She really is. She's doing. We've been up for it feels like we've been up for days, though. It's gonna get smoother, right, Leah? You'll have sleep soon.
Look, I'm on my hands and knees praying that it does, and I will continue to pray for sleep as well.
Wait, before you go, I also wanted to tell people, if you're on Locals, if you're following me on Locals, meganfox.locals.com, Leah is also on Locals. She has tell them what your Locals page is called.
It's called the Local Auto Shop, and it's an old school singles dating chat. So I think some of the people in the audience may actually know where this name has come from. A certain stream that may or may not have occurred.
Yes,
and you suggested that might be a great place to meet some people. So this is our latest that has just come up, and it is how to show affection appropriately. If you do read I have a lot of interesting videos on there, and
you have some great stuff on here. There's live chats, cheap dates, and huge telephones. There's this page is fantastic, you guys. We're going to be doing some really fun things with it. She's found these old dating videos from the 50s. How do you date properly?
I wish I did.
It's hilarious.
I threw one up just a couple of hours ago, so hopefully it gives people a bit of a laugh. It's I think I've worded it appropriately, and
look at this one. I love the love connection.
Love Connection, where old-fashioned romance meets modern-day technology.
That's what we're doing here. We're doing old-fashioned romance with newfangled technology, and it's going to be lovely. It's going to be fun. And we're going to challenge people.
I feel swipe left and swipe right is only for certain people. If you are out there and you're looking for somebody to really talk to, get to know, and also married couples, come along, give your advice, and just be a part of the community, because there's a lot of lonely people around. They are genuinely looking for somebody, and some people are just genuinely looking for people to talk with and communicate with as well, because it can be lonely at times when you're on your own. So I think it's very nice that we can do something as a community and just get people chatting about just nice things. And if you happen to meet somebody, or if you happen to go on a date, please do take a chaperone. If you don't know the person, I'll put that disclaimer out there.
No one is taking any responsibility for any.
I take no responsibility for anything.
Will there be, Debbie Jo says, will there be a bookstore trip? Well, yes, there will be challenges. Challenges will be
There's
coming.
actually, absolutely. So the lovely Megan Fox and I have got a few ideas in mind as well. So we'll keep you duly entertained at the local auto shop. And hopefully while you browse the aisles, you may find a product that you like.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think that we're at least going to have a lot of fun. And if, you know, if no one finds love, I think we'll all find friends and laughter. And
Friends and laughter and
we
kindness.
have a lot of plans for this. It's going to get bigger as it gets bigger. So join now, follow that page. It's called The Local Auto Shop on Locals. So it's the localautoshop.locals.com.
And it's free to join at the moment because thanks to Nick Ricada, of course, we love and respect the Pope of the Lordship community. And the promo code is, of course, NOS.
Did he give you free subs? That is so sweet.
No, he didn't give me free subs. I'm getting in contact with him immediately. I've had enough of this. No free subs. It's taken so much money out of me with super chats and subscriptions. I'm done. I want to speak to that man.
All right. Well, we're going to take care of that. We'll get that fixed. We have to tell him about this. We haven't told him about it yet. That's
no,
why.
we haven't. Yeah. So
once we tell him about it, I'm sure that he'll be all in.
As the producer of your show and the person that is responsible for keeping you on track.
I know I'm so off track. I'm sorry.
I'm out of here.
All right.
Peace and love to everybody and enjoy your day. Spread kindness and just humanity. Let's just be all kind to each other. That's all I have to say. So have a lovely, lovely day. And it's very dark here in Australia and the sun will be rising in a few hours. And while you are all enjoying your day, I'll probably be getting some sleep after this show. So
all righty, good. All right. Well, we'll see. Well, you stay with me as long as you can. And if you have to leave and go to sleep, I understand.
I will certainly be here for the entire show and enjoying it very much. Thank you, Megan. And thank you, everybody. Enjoy it. Have fun. Be happy.
Thanks, Leah. Leah Gio. She's the best. What else do we have here?
See you, mate.
Leah. All right, so we've got Prince Harry revealing he was physically attacked and knocked to the floor by his brother, Prince William, during a confrontation in 2019. The confrontation escalated because William called Meghan Markle difficult, rude, and abrasive. Well, I don't know about you, but that just makes me like William even more than I ever have. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, is he not just the greatest? Well, I always thought I liked William, but now I like him even more. Flux says, I love female Aussie. We have all the Aussie dudes. Now we finally have an Aussie lady. Yes, Leah Gio is the best. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter. Her Twitter handle is at Leah Giovanoni. I can't, that's so hard for me. That's why I say Leah Gio. Giovanoni. God, normally I'm good at Italian names. Darn it. But go and follow her there. It's Leah. It's Giovanoni on Twitter. All right. What else do we have here? Difficult, rude, and abrasive. I don't know. Do you think that she's probably difficult, rude, and abrasive? Because she seems that way to me. I mean, really. She does. She seems that way to me. So now Harry's big complaint is that there are all these leaks, right? All these leaks. Where is the proof, though, of the leaks that he said? His big problem that he's telling everybody is the reason why he wants an apology. Excuse me. Apparently I'm choking. Let's just play the video and then I'll get to it because I need to cough. So here we go.
I'm not sure what it is they should apologize for. He accuses them of briefing and leaking against him. We've really yet to see any concrete evidence for that. We don't really know what Harry means by that.
Well, Valentine Lowe is royal correspondent for The Times. Good morning, Valentine.
Good morning, Carl.
Good to speak to you. Thanks for joining us. First of all, just put into context for us the scale of what we have learned, because there is a lot in this book that is new, that is damaging potentially. Just your assessment, first of all, in a broad view.
It's a bewildering array of allegations and accounts by Harry. The two standout ones are his physical fight with William when William supposedly pushed him to the ground, and also the suggestion that William and Harry begged their father not to marry Camilla. But I think you got to put this in perspective. There's nothing there on a scale of the suggestion that the royal family is racist, for instance. There are no absolute killers. There's nothing that's going to permanently damage the reputation of the royal family, I don't think. It's going to be a bruising time. It's going to seriously damage the relationship between Harry and the rest of the royal family, and I'm not quite sure how they come back from that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So he's saying he wants to make amends with his brother, and yet at the same time, he is out there writing all this terrible stuff about him, in calling him a, what did he say? How did he phrase it? Alarmingly bald. If you want to make amends with your brother Harry, you should not be saying he's alarmingly bald in your book. Tarkina says, have you seen the clips of Meghan flirting with William? She wants Kate's life. Do me a favor, when you spell her name, put an H in it. Because then when you don't, I think you're talking about me. And then I'm like, wait, no, it's that bitch, not me. She has an H in her name. No, I haven't seen those clips, but thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Also, there's a Rumble rant. We have the most banned queen wants to know, do you think this is going to get back to another YouTuber, and he will take it personally as being a swipe at him and the dust up you had? I think he will lose his shit. Well, I hope he doesn't take it that way. It has nothing to do with him. What it has to do with is that stream, the birthday stream, and all the talk that happened, and the fallout and the drama over this discussion of dating and how difficult it is, brought to me email after email of hurting people. And I don't like to see people hurting. I don't like that at all. I don't like to see my fellow YouTubers hurting. I don't like to see anybody struggling like that. And contrary to some opinions, I actually am compassionate about it. And I'm a person who found happiness in love. And if I can help anybody else to do the same, then I want to. So this is just it's not a slight at anybody. It's actually just an attempt to help if I can. And I think, Leah Geo, she's someone who feels similarly, that like she doesn't want to be meeting people on a dating app. She wants to meet someone in real life. And I think that a lot of people do. I think a lot of people want to meet someone off of those apps in an actual auto shop, possibly. So that community over there is going to encourage one another to go out and maybe do some challenges about, maybe give a stranger a compliment and then report back how it went, because everybody has forgotten how to be social. Everybody has forgotten how to behave out in public. And women, maybe women need to do more approaching of men, because men are terrified. Clearly they're terrified. So maybe us women need to, you girls need to get out there and just do it. Just approach someone, say hello. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Yeah, we're gonna check out the AutoZone dating scene. Oh man, yeah. Okay, wait. Did I miss anything? Okay, no. All right, we're getting back to we're finishing up with Harry and Meghan. Let's see here. Let me get back over here. Yeah, so in the beginning, he says there's no evidence of any leaks, right? He says there's no evidence that the royal family has anything to apologize for. And this is the thing they're all arguing over, is Harry wants them to apologize to him for these alleged leaks that he says they did to harm his wife. And yet he has no proof of this. And in the entire Netflix documentary so far, we've only watched 3 of them on my channel. So far, we've seen no evidence that the royal family had anything to do with the negative stories. And let me tell you my theory. Meghan Markle loves attention. She's an actress. She loves the paparazzi, as she should as an actress, because that's how you get your name in the news. In fact, if you're an actress that the paparazzi does not follow and does not stalk, then you are not doing well. Your career is not going well. So Meghan Markle's idea of success is being talked about. And I don't think Meghan cares whether it's if it's negative or positive. And I truly believe, because the royal family is a tight ship, they do not leak. They don't leak. And all the press that's worked with them says the same thing. They're like, they're impossible. You can't get anything out of them. I don't believe that they leaked those stories. I think Meghan did it. I think Meghan Markle leaked her own negative press. And then when it got out there and she got to pretend like she was so overwrought, she's gaslighting her husband and telling her husband that his family did this, turning him against them. I think she always intended to do that. Tarkina says, thanks for the super chat. Tarkina says, sorry, Meghan, I agree. LOL. Thanks for the age. I agree with you. I am happily married, but have 2 sons who are confused and lonely and don't know how to approach women. So I love your ideas. Have them join the local auto shop on Locals. Have them join. We want them. We want all ages. We want all walks of life. Anyone who wants, to talk honestly about how we meet one another as human beings, who want love, not hookups. Love. That's another thing. It's not about hooking up. It's about love. Thanks to the super chat. Allie says, to actually leak something must mean it's true, because you don't leak lies. So Harry knows the stories are true. Who made Kate cry, Tiara tantrums, etc.? I don't know, but I do know that she can't keep. Meghan Markle has a very hard time keeping people. Okay, I'm late for a break. I have to take a break. I think we've done the Meghan Markle stuff to death, and it's time for squats. And Leah here is keeping me. She's keeping me on a schedule, so we've got to stay on that schedule. And it's time to do your squats. And when we come back, we will be talking to the Manson cases. We're going to be talking to Lisa from the Manson cases about how that case against Marilyn Manson, all those cases against him, sexual assault cases, all that, it's all crumbling. So get up now and do your squats. Don't be a fat ass.
You impose fatness on you. You did it by going, oh, I want the butter on the popcorn. Oh, I want the butter on the ice cream. Oh, I want the butter on the sandwich. Oh, I want the butter on the salad. Stop eating butter.
Can you just get up, walk 1 mile? Do squats! Walk farther. And if you can't walk, crawl, roll, get dragged by a goddamn forklift. Whatever is wrong with you, just move. Ever. Get off the chair, get off the couch. No one is coming to service you while you sink into that furniture, while you become one with the pleather your poor ass got on that Walmart couch. Can you try not floating into sadness? Stop eating, stop drinking, start walking, start doing anything that you haven't been doing, you fat piece of shit.
Women do lie. I want evidence. I believe evidence. I don't believe all women. I believe all evidence. so nuts. You're gonna love it so much. I mean, this story is crazy. I can't believe I never heard of it until this. It's been going on since the 90s.
It's like a whirlwind going on. And I'm thinking, oh, what in the hell have they got me into? In a McDonald's office with a naked woman?
Stop. Your manager. Oh my God. You guys, I want to believe I've never been this naive. Like, I want to believe that.
McDonald's office with a naked woman? I'm thinking, what part of being the right thing to do did you think this was? I started.
Empower your daughters to say no. Don't miss another movie night with Meg. Sign up now on meganfox.locals.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I'm your host, Joe Newman, a.k.a. Good Logic. Sometimes we have very serious conversations. Sometimes they're a little bit lighter. Sometimes there's the perfect blend of both. The perfect blend of both. And when you want to have the perfect blend of both, you need to have great guests like Megan Fox here.
Hi, Joe. Hi, chat.
Megan!
Oh,
Megan's back. Hi, Megan.
I'm back.
With all that
you have
so much Christmas behind
you. Do great work, Megan. Keep it up. I am going to have to sign off at this point, but thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Be happy to come back anytime.
It was great to have you, Andrew. Take care and have a great day.
Take care, folks.
Is freaking great. And one of the things that's great is you're a real reporter who does like real hard work and actually puts it, and you're fast and you beat everybody to the punch. Instead, you're out there with just the facts and you've got reliable information. You aren't just spouting BS. And so thank you for being a reliable reporter.
I try.
If you guys are on Rumble and YouTube, make sure you subscribe to Megan Fox. Get medium smart commentary at your fingertips. No, but and honestly, also make sure you check out her writing on PJ Media. You will not find sharper writing.
You know, they didn't need to go through all this. I could have just told them that, but degenerates are going to degenerate, and this is the natural outcome, and I think everyone should watch it because there are lessons to be learned. All right, here it comes. That was a poor choice of words.
Is a cure, and that cure is female orgasm.
A pleasure deficit? All anybody does is make themselves feel good. That's the whole problem with humanity. It's all about feeling good.
Welcome to the Orgasmist pop-up shop.
I'm a lot more conscious just of my own power and my sex.
She wants to have this elite group of
I just thought you should see my face closer.
Men and women.
I was
turned on
lonely,
hip
nerdy
men and
guy.
women.
One taste opened up a world
In
I didn't
the
even
tech
dream was
world.
possible.
That feels like
Silicon Valley is what's wrong with this world. It all starts in Silicon Valley.
From like utopia to hellhole.
These people are the very devil.
Fascinated.
Welcome to hell. And I'm back. Well, that worked out well. I was able to feed the dog, get some coffee, get a Diet Coke. See, it makes a difference to have somebody helping me out. I'll tell you what. I hope you guys enjoyed all that. Well, I'm back. I'm Megan Fox. I write with pjmedia.com. Have you seen my stuff there? Because if you haven't, you need to go there and click on all the links. Clickety click helps me out. So coming to the program now, I'm very excited about this. Oh, and by the way, less caramel. If you missed it, you didn't really miss it. If you are a subscriber on my locals channel, you can still see it. It's going to be up there for about another week. I can keep it until I run out of memory and then I delete it. So you haven't missed it. If you want to see Orgasm Inc. with me, and sign up on my locals right now. It's going to be up there for at least another week, maybe 2. All you need to do is find the link and click on it, and you can watch the replay. My Locals is only $5 a month, and if you use promo code SQUATS, the Squat Squad is getting 2 months for free on me when you sign up for a full year, so do it now. Okay, coming to the program now. Lisa from the Manson cases has been studying the Marilyn Manson case for a long time now. We know that Marilyn Manson has filed a defamation lawsuit against several people, I believe, and there were also cases against him, the last one of which has been dismissed. Is that correct, Lisa?
Yes, that's correct. So the one lawsuit that was recently dismissed is Ashley Morgan Smithline. She is one of the more prominent accusers. She was on the cover of People magazine with her accusations. She was also on The View promoting her lawsuit. So this is a big deal. And she's also seen in Evan Rachel Wood's documentary, Phoenix Rising. So
that was
this
the
is
worst. That documentary. Have you guys seen that documentary? It is absolutely the worst. I challenge anyone to watch that documentary and look for evidence the entire time that he's guilty of something. I couldn't find any.
Right. And when I watched it, which is after I started looking into these lawsuits and the accusations, as someone who was a fan, especially around the time that Evan Rachel Wood and Marilyn Manson were dating, a lot of the stuff in that documentary was known or already out there. Like these images of writing on his walls in his apartment was part of the backdrop of one of his albums back then. So it didn't really make sense except to make him look creepy. The only thing I saw that was new was a purported video of his feet saying, trying to figure out what Evan wants, but construed in a way which makes it look like he's basically saying he wants to unalive her or something to that effect, but it's clearly a joke.
Well, okay, so Marilyn Manson has a problem, and here's that problem as I see it. I personally don't appreciate his style. I don't appreciate his type of music, and I think that his persona does not help him. Right? He's made himself this public persona of being this person who's into torture, who's into he does all this Nazi imagery and demonic, evil, satanic stuff, and I realize it's just all part of the spiel. Truly, he's just a person, and he's chosen to do that because it was very successful for him. But unfortunately, because of it, it's like adding to. He doesn't have the cuddliness of Johnny Depp, let's say. So Johnny Depp has the world's love because he's like this lovable character. Marilyn Manson, on the other hand, has on purpose made himself this very spiky, unapproachable character. And I think that these victims, I think these accusers, let's use the word accusers. I think the accusers see that as like an easy win for them almost.
Well, Marilyn Manson certainly has a large hill to climb based on his persona, which, let's be real, a lot of people don't understand his persona. But if you were someone back in the 90s who was a fan, or even the very early 2000s, it was more understood because his persona was based kind of as a joke against American subculture, which is what elevated him into the media at the time. And there, if you recall, back in the 90s, there was strikes at his concerts. There were police filming him, waiting to arrest him for anything.
I remember
there
that.
was a lot of internet rumors. The rib one is the most famous one, that he removed a rib to perform fellatio on himself, that he threw puppies in the crowd. You didn't hear that one?
No. God,
that's the most famous one.
That's not true, right? That's just some urban legend.
He has so many urban legends. Like one of them was he would throw puppies out in the concert and say he wouldn't perform unless the crowd would unalive them. Just an insane.
Let me address this. Nobody's alt but mine says Manson isn't even relevant anymore. Why are you even talking about it? Well, we're talking about it because it is relevant to the Me Too hysteria that took over this country, and he's being accused, I believe falsely, of what are they even accusing him of? Sexual assault? Or
it's a lot of various crazy, and I think it's worth going into because even if you read their lawsuits, it's various aspects, but even like, for example, Esme Bianco is suing, claiming that when they did a music video, actually, she wasn't even that specific, but he paid for her to come to Los Angeles to do a music video called I Want to Kill You Like They Do in the Movies. She claims this first time doing this film with him, he abused her by electrocuting her, whipping her, but she's not specific to explain if this was part of the music video. It was never released, but he has explained even a month after that was recorded that it was a severely sadistic music video. It was about victim lover. It was a 9.5-minute song or music video or something to that effect. And the only difference is he released a different single and music video. And she even says in her own lawsuit, they started having a long-term relationship because she's from the UK at the time, a long-distance relationship months after that.
Yeah,
Right?
and every single one of these accusers was in a consensual relationship with him as an adult. And I really hate the fact that some of them are like, I was only 18, I was a baby. No, you're a legal adult at 18. So if you get involved with an older man when you're 18, it's perfectly legal and you have agency and you can say no. You can walk away, and none of these women did. And in fact, in that Phoenix Rising documentary, I couldn't believe she went forward with this. I couldn't believe HBO went forward with it. When here we have Evan, I think it was Evan Rachel Wood saying that she felt like she was being held prisoner and she needed to escape and she couldn't escape him. And then she had her chance. She's on a plane going to film some movie that she was in. And I'm thinking, well, great. Well, now you don't have to come back. What does she do? She comes back immediately, climbs into bed with him to tell her boyfriend about her trip. Well, then you're not being held hostage, ma'am. You're willingly there.
And this is the narrative with the majority of the lawsuits, that they do something with him and leave. In Esme Bianco's case, not only was she living in the UK, she was married at the time. And she claims that they started a long-distance relationship. In another interview, she said it was a long-distance or an affair, I should say. So you don't even really know if she's conflating actually what amounts to fucking around with someone on and off, because there are news reports at the time, say around that time period, that he was dating someone else. And this is also a period of time that Evan Rachel Wood was on and off with Marilyn Manson. So a lot of these little things don't make sense. And all of these women know each other, and they're all tied to another accuser who used to be his former employee, who is also, in a way, part of this lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood and Ashley Ilma Gore, as providing Ilma Gore, who was, let me explain, Evan's on and off again girlfriend. Ashley Walters provided her with his social security number, allegedly, his home address, social media account information, which there are pictures of that now within the last 2 or 3 months showing that is valid.
Saw that. Yeah. Talk about the fake FBI letter, because this is mind-blowing.
It's insane. So let me give a timeline so it might be easier to follow.
Sure.
According to custody filings in Tennessee between Evan Rachel Wood and Jamie Bell, the story goes something like this, where Jamie Bell receives a message on a Signal app with this FBI letter, but first it had Ilma Gore's name on it, but he wasn't able to save it in time. Now what's happening, it's around Christmas 2020. She was supposed to drop off their child in California. She had even confirmed that she was there, but then she ghosted him and she had never left. So she claims there's this big high profile investigation or something to this effect that he will eventually learn about in the media. And so he's just trying to get to see his son. And he gets this letter. He's not able to get to see his son for the holiday or coordinate anything. So what does he do? He files a parentage action in the state of California. And then she files...
To be clear, this is Rachel Evan Wood's ex-husband, right?
Evan Rachel Wood's ex-partner. I believe it was reported in the media.
Okay, so they weren't married, but it's the father of her son.
Right. So it was reported in the media.
We're not talking about Marilyn Manson. It's the father of Rachel's son, which is someone else.
And it's a little confusing there because it was reported in the media that they were married like 10 years ago, but according to these Tennessee filings, they were never actually married. So it might have been just a media piece at the time. But what happened is he filed a parentage action in California. In response, when things weren't working out, she files in Tennessee and even tries to file a restraining order against him to not take their child. So he's in limbo. So how this FBI letter comes about is Jamie Bell puts it in a declaration, or at least mentions it in the declaration because he couldn't get a copy of it. Now Evan Rachel Wood is trapped. It has to explain this FBI letter, so she submits it. And it's clearly not an FBI letter. There's no official insignia, which is required usually in government documents. And it's just a handwritten letter that you would see like in school, which is very crazy.
Whose name did they put on it?
Well, there's two things with that. One, there's an alleged FBI agent, a real FBI agent that they put the signature on. Also, the phone number belongs to an attorney named Michelle Meyer, who is actually friends with Marilyn Manson, and she'll be a big part of this as well, this lawsuit. On top of that, there's also another document that looks like the signature is ripped off of. So it's not even just a fake and forged FBI letter.
I
There's
swear,
like it's crazy.
HBO did absolutely no investigation into this. They allowed Evan Rachel Wood to say that she had FBI working on this and that this was an FBI operation. And there's no evidence that the FBI is involved at all. Let me get to this Rumble rant real quick because I missed it before the break. I'm sorry. The Most Banned Queen sent a Rumble rant that says 100% when I was younger, the best way to meet people was considered at church. But when you don't have that kind of social networking community, it is harder. I agree with you. Thanks again for the Rumble rant. All right. Sorry about that. Lisa, go ahead.
But sorry, where did I left off here? But anyways,
the letter. I mean, HBO did absolutely no investigation. Again, fake news, you guys. You cannot believe everything you see, especially in some of these documentaries. I mean, these people have agendas. They never did any digging into these women at all.
Nope. Well, you know, when a woman makes accusations, you can't do that. You can't ask questions if something doesn't make sense. Now, look at Rolling Stone.
I do.
Look at Rolling Stone. They have this big article called Monster in Plain Sight that claims at the very top of their article, if you look it up,
Is it this one? Because it's not the case dismissed one. That's the one I have linked. It must be a different one.
It's Rolling Stone, The Monster Hiding in Plain Sight. They claim in their header they investigated for so many months and talked to 55 people. And they looked at the court filings, but yet they couldn't even figure out that most of these women claim to be living with Marilyn Manson at the exact same time. It makes no sense. And there's a lot more than that.
Was he
right there at the top there?
Hostel? Was he running a hostel or something? I mean, were they there? Was it like a?
Well, I don't know. He lived in a one-bedroom small apartment above a liquor store that was once owned by Billy Zane. So I mean, come on, it's on a busy street. In I think it was West Hollywood or Hollywood, but they talked to 55 people, but you don't see 55 people in there, obviously. They're probably just using people that they confirmed things with. But remember, these accusers know each other, and they're confirming their own stories. And again, the tie is the personal assistant, or the former, I should say, Ashley Walters. They all mention her in their lawsuits, but all their stories cannot be true if they're claiming to be living with Manson at the same time. It's one thing to say that they were dating at the same time, but they're claiming years of dating Marilyn Manson while he's clearly with other people. So it doesn't make sense. And this is all like in the media that you could find photos of Manson with his now current wife.
I wonder if he had squatters like Johnny did. I mean, Johnny had a lot of squatters, demonic squatters in his house, in his penthouses. I mean, but if he's living in a small place, I would imagine he would know who was there. I want to go over this article that was in Rolling Stone. And by the way, a caveat for those of you listening, you know I don't trust Rolling Stone very much, but they did report that the lawsuit, one of the last lawsuit against him, misses deadline and was dismissed. And I just wanted to go over that with you real quick. It says one of the 3 remaining sex abuse lawsuits filed against shock rocker Marilyn Manson was dismissed by a federal judge in Los Angeles Tuesday after the plaintiff, Ashley Morgan Smithline, missed a key deadline. The court previously granted Smithline's prior lawyer permission to withdraw from the case on October 5th. It then gave Smithline 2 months to keep the case alive by either hiring new representation or filing a status report saying she was ready to represent herself. She never responded. Smithline originally sued Manson, born Brian Warner, which again, I think they should be calling him Brian Warner in the press, by the way, because using his stage name, it's not fair, right? It just, all it does is conjure up these images, these violent images when you say Marilyn Manson. But when you say Brian Warner, that just sounds like the guy down the street. I literally grew up with a bunch of Warners. And I think that the press does this, and it's not fair. Anyway, in June 2021, she alleged the musician obsessively pursued her online, convinced her to visit him in Los Angeles, and then bound and, well, I can't say that word, SA'd her, choked her, put a pillow over her face, and cut her with a knife during various assaults between November of 2010 and January of 2013.
Can I just add something here?
Wow.
Marilyn Manson's PR or his attorney has said it's on The View and all the stuff. To the extent that it was a relationship, if that's what they want to call it, it was only a week in November 2010. Again, these 2-year relationships with all these people overlap. So apparently he's dating various women. These are easy to figure out things, which is why you have the police involved to figure out these things. Not a journalist who's just going to report these things. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I absolutely, I think this is nuts. And again, these are not minors, by the way. No minors have accused him of anything, right? These were all adults.
Right. And the only one claiming that they were a teenager is Evan Rachel Wood, which she was when they dated, but now she's changed her story to, we dated at 18 versus 19, when back in 2007, when they put out their press releases that they were dating, she was 19. So whatever it may be, even if she was 18, she was
legal.
Yes. And people might not like that.
When they make it sound like, oh, I was just a baby. It's like, no, our kids need to grow up faster. Okay, that's how I feel. I feel like the Amish, by the time you're a 12-year-old girl, if you're Amish, you know how to run a household, take care of babies, cook dinner, do all the things, because that's what your parents' job. And the boys, same thing. By the time they're 12, they're building houses and stuff. We need to start expecting our kids to grow up faster, because this idea that an 18-year-old is a child is nonsense. When you're 18, you can go to war. You can be drafted to go to war. So this is nonsense that I was a baby. Knock it off. Take some responsibility for your damn self. I'm tired of this. So anyway, she missed her deadline. Okay, let's go over to the actual order, because I do have that. Andrea Burkhart was nice enough to post that for me. But you can see here that the order went to dismiss without prejudice, which means she can file it again. But she missed her deadline for it to continue currently. So it says on October 5th, the court granted plaintiff Ashley Lindsay Morgan Smithline's counsel the motion to withdraw representation, stayed the action. I wonder why her attorney withdrew, by the way. That's
that's a whole story. I'm going to be putting a video out in the next 2 days.
You know the answer?
Oh, it's all public information too.
Oh, tell me. Well, tell. We don't need to read this dry.
There is some stuff we don't know, right? Because what we don't know is Elwanger cannot say why. Like, he cannot tell us why. All we know is Ashley Morgan Smithline claims that she fired him in April and May. And there were text messages that she gave Marilyn Manson's attorneys. She was calling them every single day and emailing them. Those were included in court filings around the time he chose to withdraw. So we don't know. I mean, if you read these text messages, it's clear she doesn't want him to represent her. But we don't know his side of the story because he can't say anything. But apparently there was an in-camera inspection with the judge, so they know what happens. So unless any of these documents come out, like for, the entirety of stuff under seal, which I don't know yet if that's something we can get, we're not going to know. Especially with all these other lawsuits going on. But
now, am I wrong that there are no other lawsuits pending now against him, and the only one pending is his defamation suit?
That's wrong. So let me clarify.
Right. So, I thought it was the last one. All right, go ahead.
So Jane Doe, currently right now, there's a trial date for October of this year. The one pending right now for what's called a stay is Esme Bianco, and that means that to put the trial and everything on hold, basically. So what happened with that is, apparently, because Esme Bianco is suing for Marilyn Manson for human trafficking, because she came from London to the United States for this music video where she claims she was abused. They're claiming human trafficking, even though she went home, and that's not like she's trying to claim Epstein level trafficking.
But did she get on a plane with her passport by herself? Or did he come in?
I mean, she went on a plane, came here. She even had a hotel, but she claims she was forced to stay at his apartment.
Who is this woman? What's her name?
Esme Bianco.
Okay, I got to pull up a picture of her. Is she the one that was in Game of Thrones?
Yes, she played the character Roz, which was the prostitute. She was the redhead. And the reason why this might be on stay now, another big thing that came out, which I have not seen the media report, apparently this LASD investigation relates to her accusations, not Evan Rachel Wood's, not anyone else. Her exact dates match, everything matches. Now, there's a provision in the act when it relates to trafficking that if there is a current ongoing investigation, a criminal investigation, if there is a civil suit, it has to be put on hold until the conclusion of that investigation. But now there's enough out there, like the LADA came out and said stuff in the media.
No, wait, didn't the LA, so there was a police investigation, but they didn't ever bring any charges, right?
It's still like being looked at by the LADA according to recent filings when they spoke to them in November. So what happened is now that this is all in the media, now that they have confirmation by a detective that she is the complaining witness, or at least one of them, and the investigation relates to her accusations and her time frame, that's big news, but no one's reporting that. Now, I'm sure they probably did talk to Evan Rachel Wood, because we do see in past filings, get this, after the February 2021 accusations, that the LASD and the FBI were trying to sit with Evan Rachel Wood. Now, the reason why that's also a big deal is, remember, Phoenix Rising was filming the summer or early fall 2020, and they're claiming an FBI investigation in the fall. Was there an FBI investigation? Because it kind of looks like, based on filings, one never occurred. One of Manson's attorneys that is representing him on the criminal aspect while this investigation is going on is Blair Burke. If you don't know who she is, you've seen her probably in the deposition videos with Amber Heard. She's the one asking the questions. And according to one of the filings over the summer, they were able to confirm that there is no active criminal investigation by the FBI. So it seemed like they didn't even know.
That's what I thought. I thought I heard there was no active investigation.
And according to...
Wouldn't they be the ones investigating human trafficking?
Exactly. Now, there is a way they can buck it back to the state, but they would be the ones to charge, right? They would be, because it's a federal and international crime.
Federal crime, yeah.
And according to this filing, the only reason they can't get a declaration from this FBI agent that gave this information is it's the woman who was, or the FBI agent, I should say, that is on the fake and forged FBI letter. She cannot provide a voluntary declaration until the conclusion of the investigation into the fake FBI letter, which is currently being investigated by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI.
Oh my God.
So it's this whole thing that you don't see in the media, because the FBI cannot confirm or deny that's going on. I've tried twice. But according to legal filings, I'm going to believe
the FBI will never talk to you about
anything. So until the time that concludes, they cannot have a voluntary...
Oh my goodness.
Yes. She's got a lot of those type of photos on her account.
That's a bad implant right there. That's no good. She should go see her doctor. It's rippling. That's not good. Just saying.
But yeah, like Esme Bianco, she came forward alongside Evan Rachel Wood on February 1st, 2021. And you should be able, after a few scrolls, to find that picture. She posted a few things. On February 1st, she just posted a general thing saying, "I'll come out when the time's ready." Well, how does she come out? She comes out on February 10th, if memory serves me correctly, with an interview in The Cut. So how much was she paid for that? The next day, she then posts her accusations on social media alongside going on Good Morning America. Again, how much was she paid for that? Now,
oh, look, she got her signed copy of the Phoenix Act.
And which is another thing.
Yeah, this is part of this, right? Where they go and they lobby to get this new laws passed, the Phoenix Act, which doesn't seem to be a terrible law or anything. I don't know. Is it? But I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know much about it.
It's horrible in its original forms as they wrote it, because they were trying to include a lot of open space for coercive control.
Oh, right, but that got written out, right?
Right, and then they were trying to add in strange things like, basically, if you found evidence like a photo or something, it would keep opening up investigations, even if it was 10 years later. So a person could perpetually be investigated over and over and over again. So while yes, it's great that they extended the statute, but it took quite a few edits to get there. And then, I don't know if you know, right when Phoenix Rising comes out earlier last year, which would have been what, January, February timeframe, that it was being promoted, and it came out, I think, in February or March. Evan Rachel Wood, disbands the Phoenix Act.
What?
As she is going on interviews saying, yeah, we're going to go to every state. Then bam, Marilyn Manson's lawsuit comes out. You can go. It's public information.
Then she quit lobbying for this bill?
Well, she signed, like, her name is on the Phoenix Act, like the nonprofit. She signed the paperwork to get rid of the nonprofit. So there's no nonprofit, the Phoenix Act anymore. So she's going on interviews the next month saying, well, yeah, we're going to go to every state. We're going to do this and do that. And I see she explained it strangely in recent months as it was a criticism. She says, well, I need a break. Well, you can run a nonprofit with a staff. You don't need to close it.
True.
It's very strange. So it seems like, at least according to Marilyn Manson's lawsuit, there really was a conspiracy. I mean, who wouldn't believe that women were, abused, got together with this great brand story of the statute of limitations. Now, to add to that, LA County DA has a claim that if you make any claim of SA or anything, they'll investigate. Either, 10, 20 years old, they will investigate, especially since the Me Too movement. And none of that happened before making this public spectacle for a documentary.
Look at this poem she wrote. This is funny. This is the poetry of Esme Bianco. Your page, sweet child, far too early to pick up this book. These tomes, far too heavy for even a look. Each woman you know, each one you can name, has carried them forward with guilt and with shame. Their stories writ for them by monsters of men, but now it's your time to pick up that pen. So burn with your grief, weep with your rage. Just don't let his ink dry on your page.
Yeah. Great way to launch her what is that press thing, the Ashbourne is her thing. Now let's clarify
this is
something.
Some bad poetry, by the way. Look, I was an English major. This is some terrible poetry. I mean, this is right up there with. It's not even on the level of Dr. Seuss. I mean, Dr. Seuss did stuff like, "I will not eat them in a box. I will not eat them with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere." I mean, this is like at least 8 levels below that.
Dr. Seuss is at least entertaining and memorable. So I did want to clarify something that I hope I'm not gonna forget, but crap, what was it? Now all these women have something to the effect in their lawsuit about CP. And like in her lawsuit.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Right. I know about this.
Yes.
I know I've heard about this. Go ahead. Yes.
And in her lawsuit specifically, she adds one sentence that says that he tried to bring back a minor child. Now, this is before they're in a relationship in May 2009. That he tried to bring back a minor to his hotel room with her. And that's it. And then there's the whole groupie video aspect, which is mentioned in almost every lawsuit with or without name.
Whose child was she alleging this was?
That's just a sentence. That he tried to bring a minor back to, because remember, there's this narrative that they're trying to build of Manson abusing minor children.
Okay.
Yes. And I think that's more or less Evan Rachel Wood's thing. Now, as part of his lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood and Ashley Omagor, part of this conspiracy involves an art horror film that he filmed back in the 90s with his ex-girlfriend, Paula Weiss. It was never released, but it's known in Manson lore. Only, I would say, under a minute of it is in his Dead to the World VHS tour documentary. That's how long ago that was. Now, apparently, every single lawsuit either mentions groupie by name or that they forced them to watch this horrific film, or even Smithline, who claims that she was forced to watch CP.
What? Okay.
Yes. So but this is part of the whole
hearsay. That's hearsay. Do they have it? I mean, do they actually have this evidence that they say that he did this? I mean,
no, but here's the thing. In recent months, as part of the anti-slap motions that are still ongoing, Omagor was deposed based on her state of mind as it relates to groupie. We know that Marilyn Manson's attorneys have audio recordings allegedly of this. We don't really know what it says, but they have enough from a broken iPad or from a phone call. We know one of them that recorded conversations, at least in one audio, is alleged to be Michelle Meyer, who is the phone number on the fake FBI letter, the attorney and friends of Manson. So smart, very smart. So we know at least one of those audios is that, and that it's indisputable.
I also heard there was some shenanigans with his computer. They got access to his computer, and there's some question of whether they planted CP on his computer.
Yes. So here's the story with that. Now, you've watched Phoenix Rising, right? There were claims from Evan Rachel Wood and the supposed alleged personal assistant that Manson knew how to hack. Based on my information, I hear that's pretty stupid. But that's why in his lawsuit, he actually does allege that he was hacked by Ashley Ilmagore, and they actually created fictitious emails in his name. In fact, she does not dispute that in her anti-slaps, that she did use an email in his name, but just made up the fact that, oh, well, we need to use emails, fake emails for social media. But it's also alleged by Ilmagore's twin sister, Brayton, who did provide a declaration to Marilyn Manson. She's the one who found the broken iPad because apparently it was given to her. And a lot of this information and evidence is on this broken iPad that was, as far as we know, this last March, I should say, was forensically, imaged. And there is a declaration by the person that did that, authenticating that. Now, there's a lot of questions with that, especially if there is an ongoing investigation by the LASD. It's likely they have that, right? It's likely, but I can't say for sure. The FBI
I want to bring your attention to Esme Bianco's little post here, by the way, because there's something in it that's really bothersome to me that all these women say. This is very similar to like Amber Heard and Meghan Markle, the same people. It's so similar. These people are so similar, right? She writes, 2021, you have been a nightmare gift. One of the hardest years of my life, yet I hold such intense gratitude for the gifts you have given. You've taught me that I have more strength, resilience. Boy, these people love to pat themselves on the back, don't they? And courage that I ever thought possible, yet you humbled me. Yes, you sound very humble, Esme. And at times brought me to my knees. You cleared my vision, allowing me to trust my intuition more than ever, taught me that I don't have to ask anyone's permission to speak my truth, that my voice is mine alone. God, I hate this phrase. I hate it.
My truth.
So much, because you can't argue with a person who says this is my truth, because they're acknowledging right there that it's not necessarily the truth. It's just how I see it. This idea that there is my truth and your truth, and it is so damaging to due process. Do you people see this?
Now, let me just say with Esme Bianco, before I forget, a large chunk of her evidence leaked a couple months ago, and some of us saw the entirety of it. Because what happened was, in legal filings, 2 links were clickable and not redacted, and people were able to get to it. And let me tell you, I saw her quote unquote evidence in its opposite land. In fact, I'm not even sure why she's suing, because it's clear she's not either going to win or what. I don't understand it, because
I felt like these lawsuits personally were just for the Rolling Stone articles, because once you get the press to report about, oh, this guy is an abuser and look at what these women are alleging, it doesn't matter what happens in court, because people already then associate him with the abuser. That's what happened to Johnny Depp. She didn't have to prove anything. She didn't have to prove. All she had to do was come out and get the press to write about it. And suddenly everyone was calling him a wife abuser. Everyone was calling him a wife beater. That wasn't true. And we have years later, we finally learned it wasn't true. And I believe that during the trial, the defamation trial, we will learn that none of this was true either. And I hate to even say it, because I don't even like Brian Warner. I don't like him as an entertainer. I think he's kind of dumb for doing what he did, and I think that he hasn't really contributed much to the culture. I think he's contributed to the coarsening of the culture, and that's something that I don't appreciate. But I also don't believe that men should be falsely accused and dragged through this, the public dragged to the public guillotine and beheaded before they even get to defend themselves. And this man has been dragged through it for how many years now has this been going on, Lisa?
Oh, a couple years. So the accusations came out in February 2021, but let's be clear. Everyone suspected him once Evan Rachel Wood started saying that she was R-worded by two men. One of them that she was in a relationship. And she came out with that. Now, let's talk about this one. Speaking of Rolling Stone. Evan Rachel Wood, back in November 2017. So this is after Trump was elected.
Hang on a second, Lisa. Barbara, yes, I have heard him speak. I know he's not unintelligent, but he has made some dumb choices with women, okay? You can be very highly intelligent, like Brian Warner is, and also make terrible, dumb decisions with women, like Johnny Depp did. You can let your little man lead your life and lead you to a woman who's a psychopath who will destroy your life. And apparently, Brian Warner has had many of the, he's been letting his Todger make his decisions for him, shall we say, because these women are you got to learn how to avoid these women. And by the way, buy my book, Believe Evidence, The Death of Due Process from Salome to #MeToo, because in that book, I tell you how to avoid women like that. It's a great book for your sons if they're going off to college or teenage sons, because I will give them advice on how to spot women like that and how to avoid them. For one, any woman that says my truth, no. You're far away from me. Get thee behind me, Jezebel. No woman who says things like this, you should ever, and a woman who comes at you with the huge fake tatas and that's all she has going for her. Again, go the other way, okay? Just please trust me on this. Sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
It's okay. When you're a celebrity, I'll add, they're going to come after you.
Oh, yeah.
And especially since the Me Too movement, you can just make an accusation and instantly be believed. But think about this. This is Marilyn Manson. Anyone at any point in his career could have made an accusation and would be instantly believed. Instantly.
Of course. And that's part of what I say is the dumbness of his character, of his persona. It's like, okay, you did this without thinking. And if you were going to make a persona like this that was so controversial, that was so, so able to be accused of something, you should have been extra careful with the women in your life. You should have had the open door policy or the Mike Pence policy, which was never be alone with a woman who's not your wife policy. Because if you are, and you have all this money, you really think you're not going to be attacked, assaulted by these women who want a quick buck? Look at what happens to NBA players. Like the women are getting knocked up by them on purpose so they can get the child support for the rest of, for 18 years. These are women out there do this stuff to famous men. Does he not know? Did he not know? Did no one tell him? Does he not have a decent PR person who's like, hey, Brian, the ladies will try to do this to you. You should probably have some security cameras. You should probably do background checks. You should probably, I could help with this. I have a million ideas on how to weed them out.
Well, now Marilyn Manson is married, so I think he's pretty settled.
He's good now. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why being, in a, maybe not if you're not the marrying type, fine, but being with one person is so much less dangerous than all this hopping around nonsense. Because if you're doing all this swiping in the left and the right, and you're going out with strangers all the time, you're opening yourself up to these types of attacks, these types of problems. And I strongly recommend that you don't live like that. Just my 2 cents.
Right. So there's 2 things I definitely want to bring up quick before we go later. The first thing is an article with Evan Rachel Wood that she wrote as an essay for Nylon magazine. Now, this would be a year after she claims in Rolling Stone magazine about these 2 men that she alleges R-worded her. So this is a year later. This is after Trump is in office.
2 different men?
Yes.
Not Marilyn
2 different
Manson.
men.
Oh, so she's like Casey Anthony, who is the most essayed person in America. Just everybody's essaying her all over the place. It's from her father to the brother, and then like a gang situation. And
now in this article, this is the first time she ever mentions no names. But
of course
if you read the article, it looks like she's talking about 3 different people. It's Rolling Stone, November 2016, and in fact, in that article,
what's it called? I'll look it up. Let's go.
If you just look up Rolling Stone, her name, and put in November 2016, it'll pull up. But it looks like she's talking.
Whose name? Who are we talking about again? Evan Rachel
Evan
Wood?
Rachel Wood. Yeah. So this would be the first time she makes these claims, right?
Uh-huh.
It looks like she's talking about 3 people, Marilyn Manson and then these 2 other people, because she has good things to say in the article. And by the way, confirms yet again that music video was simulated sex.
But wait, didn't she say it wasn't? She said she was
Exactly.
actually
It's one of her-
repaid on set. She said, didn't she?
So-
She said there was actual intercourse in
Yes.
the movie. And I
Yes.
mean on the yeah. Okay.
And
so
this is
this the one?
before.
Is
Yes.
this the article? Okay.
If you scroll through it, the accusations are at the very end, but in the middle, if you look up, you may have to use a guest tab
I'll have to
get into that.
I'll just get the archive. Don't worry. I know
yeah.
how to do this.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting about that archive for that.
Oh,
But
the archive is fantastic. Yeah, I'll get that up in just a minute.
now, a lot of people might not know unless they were following Marilyn Manson back then, which I was. That music video was highly discussed because of the contents of that music video. And because it was a new relationship with Evan Rachel Wood, who was rumored at the time to be the reason why Dita, is it Von Teese? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Dita Von Teese, yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Who, by the way, Dita said that Brian in the bedroom was so vanilla, right? Wasn't she the one who was like, he was just a normal boyfriend? He wasn't.
I think so.
he
There's
wasn't
been quite a
weird.
bit of people, even Colonel Kurtz. She's a great YouTuber that has interviewed
I love
several
Colonel
people.
Kurtz. I love her, by the way.
And one of the interviewers, his name's Manson, who also knew Evan Rachel Wood. He said he asked her back when they were together, and she said no, he's pretty vanilla. But yeah, if you look in this article, you can find where it's confirmed that it's simulated.
Oh, here does it say simulated? I can I can look up the. Oh no, it doesn't use the word simulated. Let's see.
Try the other word.
Video. Oh, here it is.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
In a video that's so graphic that the sex was rumored to have been real, she says it wasn't.
Now, going back to 2007 when this came out, this was highly discussed, even in MTV News.
Yeah.
And, Marilyn Manson has a way of joking about things. But there was something he also spoke about because people believed it was real, but he wouldn't confirm or deny, at the time. Now, there was 2 crews present, which how many people is that? I don't know.
Oh, God, at least,
But he
at least 20? At
Yeah,
least
and
20 people.
he discussed this one crew had problems with this, a more conservative crew had problems with this because it looked real. That article still exists. And the only crew that I could find that one of these articles today confirmed is from one random person. What about all these other people? What if it's that conservative person?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you scroll down, it should bring up the accusations.
There.
It'll say I believe it
It's
says
right
she
here.
emailed her.
And she
Yes,
had
she
an
emailed her.
unaliving attempt at 22. Let's see, nearly. Okay, she's talking about that. Is this it right here? I have been repaid.
Yep.
By a significant other while we were together and on a separate occasion by the owner of a bar. I don't believe we live in a time where people can stay silent any longer. Well, why were you silent then? Like what?
Trump was elected. Trump was elected. This is November 2016.
No kidding. So I'm so glad you said that, by the way, because that's when all of this stuff just went hog wild crazy. As soon as Trump was elected, all of a sudden the Me Too movement just, turned on fire because they wanted to harm him. This was about harming him. Even Amber Heard. This was about harming Trump. If you read the Washington Post article that she got sued for defamation, the internal communications between her and the ACLU were all about Trump. This was a response to Trump. It was to take Trump down, not just her husband, but Donald Trump as well. It was all a political hit. So it's very interesting that you bring this up, that this is at the same time. We're talking about the exact same time frame here, folks. This was a political hit job. Do you think that there are any attorneys here that are attached to this with her that are the same attorneys that Amber was working with? Because one of them was named, she was, oh God, what's her name? I'm going to forget it now.
She's working with Sean Hawley.
Sean Hawley. I don't know
Evan
that
Rachel Wood
name,
is.
but
She's a big name.
I wonder if she's got any ACLU people working on it too, because it felt like a combined hit job.
Let me just say, we can likely expect more involvement with her political leanings with the Phoenix Act, likely because she did work with Rise. That's where when she did that first congressional thing, Rise was with her. But there's something I want you to pay attention to in here. Let me read this.
Okay.
And then I'll have you bring up another article, and this is why. As
Okay.
it relates to everything. Where is it? It
We
says
have 5 minutes left.
Perfect. She was less circumspective when she emailed me the day after the presidential election. Yes, I've been R-worded. Okay. Now, if you look up a Nylon article the year later, November 2017, it's titled, "What a Time to Be Alive."
Okay. On Nylon?
Mm-hmm.
What a time.
And it's about Trump and her accusations. Well, she didn't name people here. But remember, she also accuses this other person we never hear about again. The bar owner.
Right. The bar owner? The bar owner.
This article is very important.
Okay.
Because in it, she describes calling, not emailing, calling Rolling Stone because, and get this.
Should I find the part where she mentions Rolling Stone? Will that be where it is?
Probably.
There it is.
Here we go. To add insult to injury, I was waiting to hear about a photo shoot I did for Rolling Stone magazine. The magazine was debating whether or not to make it a cover story. I supported the idea, especially after I heard that at the moment it had been over a year since Rolling Stone had put a woman on their cover. I got the call and they had decided to give me the cover or give the cover to the Rolling Stones. I love blah, 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 blah. But in it, she describes after all this that she made these accusations
in the social political climate we were in, it was a devastating blow that not only was Rolling Stone extending their streak of a female devoid publication, but they were rejecting a cover featuring a female whose role represented overcoming oppression and abuse, a survivor. This set the tone for what was about to be a disaster with seemingly no limits to its destruction. As the numbers rolled in, the party got quieter and quieter until we couldn't move or speak. This is like that Saturday Night Live skit.
Now skip down to the next day.
Okay, that morning I paced around my small.
Oh, right up here. The next day I woke up.
Okay.
Yeah. The next day I woke up out of my self-induced coma, numb and quiet. I was. Oh, here we go.
These people are so funny.
I immediately got on the phone with one of my best friends, and we wept together. It must be a little bit more. Oh, I walked over to the phone and called Rolling Stone.
There it is.
You see in the interview, I had done, I had done with them.
I dodged questions.
Now.
So she lied.
So you lied. Now, after she didn't get this cover, she's going to call them. Call them. Yes, I've been R-worded. You see it right there. Now, this is still different from the Rolling Stone article because they said she emailed. Now she's saying she called them and said, yes. And this is after she didn't get the cover of Rolling Stone. She literally just outs herself.
Oh, look at this. Listen to this. This was also the day I vowed to only wear suits to every upcoming award show that I would be attending. I would not conform to a society that didn't stand up for me or value me as a human being. Oh, is that why you have your tits out on Instagram all day long, honey?
Oh, wrong. That's Evan. This is Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh,
other person.
She does too. You know she does too. You know she does too.
But you see what I'm saying? Like,
yes, I do see what you're saying.
There's a lot of inconsistencies once people look into it.
I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much, and hopefully we can do this again as details, are released and more is discovered. I love having you here, and we'll do it again for sure. And thank you. If you guys want to follow Lisa's coverage, because she has a ton of it. The website is the Manson Cases. Is it theMansonCases.com? It's linked in the description. She also has a YouTube page named The Manson Cases, and follow her on Twitter at The Manson Cases. Thanks for being here, Lisa.
Yep, and there is some big news coming this week, so watch out for that on YouTube.
Do we get a hint?
It's about Smithline.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks for being here, Lisa. I sure appreciate it.
And thank you so much for having me. And thanks, everyone.
Take care. All right. Producer Leah Geo is keeping me on schedule today, so I have to listen. So guess what it's time for? You know what it's time for? You need to get up off your butt and do your squats. And then after that, when we come back from this next break, I'm going to take a bathroom break after the squats, and I'm going to go and, get some coffee or something. Andrew Branca is going to be here, and we are going to talk about the taqueria taquerito. How do you say that? The taco shop. I don't speak Spanish. We're going to talk about the taco shop shooting. Was it self-defense or was it murder? You know, the only person, when I saw that, I was like, you know who I need to talk to? I need to talk to Andrew Branca. He's going to know. And so we're going to do that. We'll be right back after this. Get up, do your squats right now. I think I'm going to do some push-ups. My arms feel weak. Ready? Here we go.
You impose fatness on you.
You did it by going, oh, I want the butter on the popcorn. Oh, I want the butter on the ice cream. Oh, I want the butter on the sandwich. Oh, I want the butter on the salad. Stop eating butter.
Can you just get up, walk 1 mile? 2 squats! Walk farther. And if you can't walk, crawl, roll, get dragged by a goddamn forklift. Whatever is wrong with you, just move. Ever. Get off the chair. Get off the couch. No one is coming to service you while you sink into that furniture, while you become one with the pleather your poor ass got on that Walmart couch. Can you try not floating into sadness? Stop eating, stop drinking, start walking, start doing anything that you haven't been doing, you fat piece of shit!
You know, women do lie. I want evidence. I believe evidence. I don't believe all women. I believe all evidence.
This is so nuts. You're gonna love it so much. I mean, this story is crazy. I can't believe I never heard of it until this. It's been going on since the 90s.
It's like a whirlwind going on. And I'm thinking, oh, what in the hell have they got me into? In a McDonald's office with a naked woman?
Stop. Your manager. Oh my God. You guys, I want to believe I've never been this naive. Like, I want to believe that.
McDonald's office with a naked woman? I'm thinking, what part of being the right thing to do did you think this was? I started.
Empower your daughters to say no.
Don't miss another movie night with Meg. Sign up now on meganfox.locals.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I'm your host, Joe Newman, a.k.a. Good Logic. Sometimes we have very serious conversations. Sometimes they're a little bit lighter. Sometimes there's the perfect blend of both. The perfect blend of both. And when you want to have the perfect blend of both, you need to have great guests like Megan Fox here.
Hi, Joe. Hi, chat.
Megan!
Megan!
Oh,
Megan's
back! Hey, Megan.
I'm back.
With all that
you have
so much Christmas behind you.
You do great work, Megan. Keep it up. I am going to have to sign off at this point, but thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Be happy to come back anytime.
It was great to have you, Andrew. Take care and have a great day.
Take care, folks.
is freaking great. And one of the things that's great is you're a real reporter who does like real hard work and actually puts it, and you're fast and you beat everybody to the punch. Instead, you're out there with just the facts and you've got reliable information. You aren't just spouting BS. And so thank you for being a reliable reporter.
I try.
If you guys are on Rumble and YouTube, make sure you subscribe to Megan Fox. Get medium smart commentary at your fingertips. No, but and honestly, also make sure you check out her writing on PJ Media. You will not find sharper writing.
You know, they didn't need to go through all this. I could have just told them that, but degenerates are going to degenerate, and this is the natural outcome, and I think everyone should watch it because there are lessons to be learned. All right, here it comes. That was a poor choice of words.
Is a cure, and that cure is female orgasm.
A pleasure deficit? All anybody does is make themselves feel good. That's the whole problem with humanity. It's all about feeling good.
Welcome to the Orgasmist pop-up shop.
I'm a lot more conscious just of my own power and my sex.
She wants to have this elite group of
I just thought you should see my face closer.
Men and women.
I was
Turned on
friendly,
hip
nerdy
men and
guy.
women.
One taste opened up a world
In
I didn't
the
even
tech
dream was
world.
possible.
That feels like
Silicon Valley is what's wrong with this world. It all starts in Silicon
We
Valley.
went from like utopia to hellhole.
These people are the very devil.
Fascinated.
Welcome to hell.
It's like a whole new show, isn't it? Producer Leah Geo gets here, and suddenly we have a schedule. We're on time. We're actually on topic. I'm Megan Fox. You know me. I write with pgmedia.com, and I'm here Monday through Wednesday with live streams for you. Tomorrow's True Crime Tuesday. Don't forget that. And right now, coming to the program, the moment you've all been waiting for, and I made you wait. Yes, I did. Andrew Branca from the Law of Self-Defense. How are you?
I'm living the dream. How are you doing, Megan?
Good. I'm so glad you could make it today. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple seconds, but you know, we're both busy.
Very
Crazy
busy.
world.
Very busy. But there's been all kinds of everybody lost their minds on Twitter yesterday. All I did was tweet out, Andrew, I tweet out one question, and I'm like, you know, this doesn't look like a great shooting to me after the first few shots. I think at first I said 2, and then after watching, I'm like, well, I'll give him 4. I'll give him 4 shots, maybe 5. But there was a shooting in a taqueria. Is that how you say it? Taqueria? How do you say that word? Taco shop?
Now that you stumbled over it, I suddenly forgot.
I know. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, there was a taqueria in somewhere in Texas that happened recently. Houston, thank you. And it looked really good, like a self-defense and defense of others shooting for the first couple of minutes or a couple of shots. And then after that, it got really strange. And people got very upset with me on Twitter for saying that maybe this isn't a great shooting. But I want to point out, I mean, I got hell. People were like, oh, you're just armchair quarterbacking. And how dare you? You weren't there. And how would you like it if your family was this or that? And in this, in this situation, it's like, well, no, I wouldn't like that. But also, I think you have a real responsibility, Andrew, and correct me if I'm wrong. But if you're carrying in public, if you're concealed carrying, should you know the law, Andrew?
Well, if you don't, it's at your peril.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the system doesn't care what you think self-defense law is. They only care about what self-defense law actually is. So unfortunately, a lot of the cases I work on involve normal law-abiding people who've never been in trouble with the law a day in their lives, get scared by a imagined or real threat, go to the gun. Usually they don't even fire a shot, but they wave the gun around, and they're shocked to discover that they're now charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and are looking at 10 to 20 years in prison. And the most common remark I hear from these clients is, I can't believe I'm getting prosecuted for self-defense. In their heads, they have a subjective, genuine, good faith belief that they were acting lawfully.
Right.
Unfortunately, they're often mistaken, or it's ambiguous, sufficiently ambiguous that they're facing criminal charges because they didn't know where the actual legal boundaries were. They thought they did. Someone had told them, or they took a concealed carry course, or the retired cop down the street said a bunch of stuff to them, and they think they know what the law is, or heaven forbid, they read, no offense, media reports on some kind of self-defense case.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me how bad the media is.
And they're just completely, it's not that people don't know self-defense law, it's just that most of what they know is wrong. And when they use force within these imaginary legal boundaries, they find themselves often in very, very serious legal trouble.
Very serious. I watched this man that we're about to watch. I watched him go from perfectly acceptable to possibly facing time in prison within a few seconds. And that's why you wrote the book that you wrote, correct? I mean, you have an entire, let's see if I can grab your book. Here it is. So you've got the law of, we both have one, law of self-defense principles. And what's great about this book is that it also comes with a state-specific guide. So whatever state you're in, you can get your state-specific guide that comes with it that has all your state-specific laws, because state to state, this guy is probably very lucky he's in Texas. Is that right, Andrew?
Well, a couple things I should make clear. We had a previous edition of the book that had tables in the back that had state-specific laws. We don't print that anymore, the tables. So the new book doesn't have that, because since we wrote that prior edition, we now have specific state-specific DVD courses and online courses for each of the states.
Right.
Yeah,
it comes with
right.
the DVD course, right?
Well, it doesn't come with it. You have the
You order
DVD
it.
is separate, but it's certainly available for all 50 states. But the truth is that the self-defense law across the U.S. is fairly common across the states. It's about 80% common across the 50 states. And that's really a reflection of how old self-defense law is. I mean, American self-defense law is all based on English common law from before we were a nation. It really dates back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, and probably earlier. We just don't have records that predate that. And really, even animals exercise a privilege of self-defense. If an animal is attacked, it will defend itself. It's an aspect of natural law. So although there are nuances from state to state, and they matter, I mean, if you happen to be an edge case, it can make the difference between getting convicted or acquitted. So it is important to know the details. But by and large, the fundamental principles underlying self-defense law across the 50 states are pretty similar. In fact, they all rely on this combination of 5 elements, 5 conditions, up to 5. All 5 don't always apply, but up to 5 elements that are required for a use of force to be lawful in defense of yourself or in defense of other people. And no secret, by the way, folks, these are, I know it's probably hard to read on the screen. You can get this infographic for free, by the way. We give it away. Doesn't cost a penny. At lawofselfdefense.com/elements, because these are the 5 elements of a claim of self-defense. And they are innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. And if you like, we can step through them in the context of this particular shooting in the taqueria. For some of the rounds fired, those elements are apparently are almost certainly present, meaning that the firing of those shots would be justified as lawful self-defense. Unfortunately, for some of the rounds, they're ambiguous. And for the final 9th round fired, they're just not present.
Interesting. So let's watch it, and then we can do that. Let's walk through it the way you would. I got real nervous when I watched this because it just bothered me. It was like, okay. And for YouTube, by the way, I don't care. I guess hopefully they won't strike me, but this is for educational purposes with legal commentary and no other purpose. We do not ever want to be showing violence in any glorified way at all. So let's watch this.
Fair warning. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
You probably won't get struck. I played this yesterday on my YouTube channel. I didn't get a strike, but I was within minutes of the start of my live stream. I was demonetized. So
yeah, they always demonetize me. So guys, they're going to demonetize me. So super chats, rumble rants, locals tips would all be appreciated. So far today we're on the low side. So it would be nice, since YouTube isn't going to pay me, if you guys would. All right, here we go. Let's play this.
I like the music.
Oh boy. All right, now I
So
thought
there's really three sets of shots fired. There's the first
Yes.
four where the bad guy, the robber, is upright and in the process of falling over. There's the second four where he's on the ground. In fact, he's lost possession of the gun. It bounced off the floor under a piece of furniture.
and also
then
notice,
there's
I mean, he is pointing this gun like directly at this guy over here. So I
At
think
this
it's
point, yeah,
absolutely
sure.
justified that this man is pulling out a weapon to stop this.
And even if there wasn't somebody in the corner, it's a handgun. It can be redirected in a moment. I mean, he's
Yeah.
threatening everybody in the space with imminent deadly force. So it's. I hear people talking a lot about the fact that he was shot in the back. That doesn't matter, folks. There's nothing about self-defense law that says you can't shoot someone in the back.
Right.
What self-defense law requires is that you have been facing an imminent, unlawful threat of deadly force. If those conditions are met, you can shoot them anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Right. And I think these first four shots, I'm going to play that again and I'll stop it right after the first four shots because that's where I felt like, great, that's good. Hold them there and get the police. But then it just gets so weird after that. So watch again the first four. There, he's down. He's down.
Right. So those four are all certainly justified. There's an imminent threat of deadly force to this shooter, this defender, and really everyone else in the room.
Okay,
at least up until the guy hits the floor and loses his gun.
So where are we in your chart right now?
So look at those elements I talked about before. Innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. Yeah, you don't have to scope me in. Again, you folks, you can get that for free at lawselfdefense.com/elements. We don't charge a penny. It's just a PDF download. But innocence, the element of innocence. Well, clearly this defender here is the innocent party. He's the non-aggressor. The armed robber is the aggressor. So he's got the element of innocence. Imminence means you're facing a threat that's either in progress or immediately about to happen. Well, clearly the threat from the armed robber is in progress. He's waving a gun around. So imminence is in the defender's favor. Proportionality, meaning you can only use deadly defensive force if you're facing a deadly force threat. Now, interestingly enough, it turns out that the bad guy's gun is fake. It's an airsoft pistol. So they were not actually facing a deadly force threat, but that's not what the law requires. The law just requires that you reasonably perceived a deadly force threat. It looked like a real gun. You're allowed to respond like a real gun. It reasonably appeared to be a deadly force threat. You can respond with deadly defensive force. That's proportionality. So that's 3 of the 5 elements already in his favor. The fourth element is avoidance. That's the one that varies the most across the 50 states. Avoidance has to do with whether or not you have a legal duty to retreat, if safely possible, before you can defend yourself in self-defense. Texas does not apply the element of avoidance in otherwise lawful cases of self-defense. It's a stand-your-ground state. In fact, it's a hard stand-your-ground state. So avoidance doesn't really play any part here. It's not required.
That means you don't have a duty to retreat, right?
No, even if safely possible. In fact, the jury will be instructed in Texas that they are not permitted to even consider the possibility of retreat in evaluating the reasonableness of the defensive force. So it's just completely off the table. So there's really only 4 elements in this context. And the 5th element would be reasonableness. Do you have a genuine good faith belief that you need to use deadly force in self-defense? And is that belief objectively reasonable, meaning a hypothetical, reasonable, and prudent person would share that belief? Your belief is not speculation. It's not imagination. You're observing evidence. You're observing facts and applying your powers of reason to come to a conclusion. Here for these first 4 shots, he's reasonably perceiving this to be a real gun, a real deadly force threat. He's not speculating the guy might have a gun in his jacket, for example. He sees an apparent gun in the guy's hand. So of the 5 elements, avoidance isn't required, and the other 4, innocence, imminence, proportionality, and reasonableness, are soundly in this defender's favor for those first 4 shots. It gets a little more ambiguous as we proceed.
Yeah, it does. Let's watch the next set, and I'm going to stop it after the next 4. I think it is right. There's 4 more, and then 1 final.
Right.
All right, so we'll stop it after the next 4, and we'll talk about that. Whew. All right, so he's
So this
he's
gets more
approaching.
ambiguous for a couple of reasons. One is the bad guy's actually lost his gun, quote unquote, the airsoft pistol.
Sure.
When you started that clip, right at the start, you see the gun bounce off the floor, go under a piece of furniture. So if the defender saw that, he would know the guy no longer has the gun. That was the deadly force threat. But maybe he didn't see it.
Maybe he didn't see
you know,
that.
you get
We're at this
tunneled.
high level on the camera,
Sure.
so maybe our perspective is a little different.
Right. So it becomes more ambiguous because we don't know if he saw the gun bounce away or didn't see the gun bounce away. It would be reasonable that he might not see the gun under the stress of the environment. He might believe the guy still has the gun in his hand. And if he still has the gun in his hand, the fact that he's on the ground doesn't neutralize him as a deadly force threat. He still has a pistol in his hand. He's still an imminent deadly force threat. So those second group of 4 shots might still be legally justified. If you reasonably believe that this guy, even though he's on the ground, is still a deadly force threat. For example, you didn't see the gun bounce away, so you believe he still has the gun in his possession. We don't know what the defender is going to say about his knowledge at this time, at least until he makes some kind of statement, if he ever does. So it's left a little bit ambiguous. But of course, the burden's on the state to disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt. So the presumption is in the favor of the defender here. That what he's doing is reasonable, unless the evidence clearly indicates otherwise. So the first 4 shots, clearly lawful.
Yeah.
The second 4 becomes more ambiguous, depending on, for example, if he were to speak to the police, the defender, and say, yeah, I saw the guy lose his gun, that would be awkward then. It would be difficult to justify because there would no longer be that.
And he thought that he still might have it and might be moving, or
Yep.
thought he saw him move, then
Right.
there's a defense for the next 4. But for this
Right.
next one, oh, Andrew, this one bothers me. Picks up the gun, shot to the head.
Right. So the difficulty with this shot is the ambiguity we just talked about with the second set of 4 shots. Maybe he knew the guy lost his gun. Maybe he didn't. If he didn't know the guy lost his gun, maybe he believes the guy's still armed with a pistol, still an imminent deadly force threat. But with this 9th shot, he knows the guy doesn't have his gun because he picked the gun up off the ground and took possession of it. And then he popped the guy once more in the head. That's just an anchor shot, we call it. That's just an execution shot.
That's an execution shot, Matt.
Yeah,
And that's here's the thing that bothers me about it is that we are not, self-defense and concealed carry is not to become your own judge, jury, and executioner. It's for self-defense, and you
Right.
can't.
The
make
legal
the
privilege is to
decision.
neutralize the threat. It's not to
Yeah.
kill.
It's not to kill.
You don't have an executioner's authority to kill people, to murder people. You have a right to use force, arguably even deadly force if you're facing a deadly force threat. In other words, force that's capable of killing. It might kill the person, but that's not the goal.
not
The
the
goal is
goal.
not to kill them. The goal is to
to stop it.
neutralize the threat against you and others.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are going to feel like Fubar Temp, who says this is murder, but if I'm on the jury, not guilty. I think that's how a lot of people feel. But
Right,
I
so-
was surprised that I got so much, people attacking me on Twitter for being like some kind of, I don't know what they think, like I'm soft on crime or something. I agree the guy deserved to get shot for what he was doing, but I don't think he deserved that 9th shot in the head or even the last 4. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it's not a matter of what he deserved or didn't deserve. I mean, people will argue, for example, that, hey, what if he was committing armed robbery and he'd been captured by the police and prosecuted? What's the penalty for armed robbery? It's not capital punishment. It's not the death sentence. So it's not a question of what you deserve. It's a question of what the innocent people who are your victims are privileged to do to defend themselves. And they're privileged to use deadly defensive force to protect themselves from your threat of unlawful deadly force. It's not a matter of deserving. It's a matter of what they're privileged to do to defend themselves. The trouble is your privilege to use force to defend yourself extends only as far as you're actually being threatened. Once the threat against you is gone, either because you've neutralized the guy with gunfire or he ran away or whatever the case may be, your privilege to use force is also gone. It's like a window that opens and closes. The window opens, your privilege to use deadly force in self-defense, but then the window closes. And if you keep using force after the window closes, that additional force is not legally justified. So this is a case where this guy could be perfectly lawful in his first 4 shots, maybe the second 4. But man, that's a hard sell on that 9th shot because there's no longer any threat against him at that point.
Very, very hard sell. And then here's a local news report that happened about this case. I wanted to play this real quick.
Houston police want to talk to a man seen on video shooting and killing a robber at a taco shop in Southwest Houston. Happened around 11:30 Thursday night at the Ranchito number 4 on South Gessner and Bel Air. The masked bandit there pointing the gun at the customer. He started taking money and wallets. As he left, one of the customers there on the left side of your screen pulled out a gun and shot the would-be thief. You hear it. He shot him several times. Turns out the robber had a plastic gun. Shop's owner wants that shooter to come forward.
He thinks the guy should come as someone who helped the community, not as a criminal.
Surveillance video shows the shooter driving off in a 70s or 80s model pickup truck, no bed in it. Police ask that he and the other customers contact them for questioning.
All right, so this is another problem, Andrew. He left the scene. He did not wait for police, and he's missing apparently. So that
I think he's retained counsel, and his lawyer is talking with the police now.
Oh,
so,
that's good, because last I heard it.
That.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if he had. I mean,
I don't know for a fact. That's what I've been informed. Yeah. So the trouble with flight is a couple things. One is there's certain types of evidence we lawyers call consciousness of guilt evidence. It's evidence that suggests that you believe you did something wrong, and it's typically things like lying to the police. You can always not talk to the police, but if you lie to the police, it looks bad. Or tampering with evidence. Why would you tamper with evidence except you think the way the evidence looks is bad for you? Or flight from the scene for purposes other than safety. Now, if you're in a dangerous situation, leave the area. I mean, get yourself to a position of safety, absolutely. But once you achieve a position of safety, the normal rules apply again. And the normal rules is someone who believes they acted in lawful self-defense is not going to continue fleeing to avoid identification, to avoid accountability. They're going to tell their story of self-defense. That's the theory, of course. Now, we've all seen people railroaded through the criminal justice system, the George Zimmermans, the Kyle Rittenhouses. So there are reasons why, I mean, it's understandable why someone might, if they thought they had the option to not get fed into that machine, they might try to take that option. I'm certainly not telling anyone to flee from the scene, but it's not hard to understand why people might do that. And this guy, flight can happen not only because you believe you're guilty, because you believe your use of force was unlawful, but there may be other reasons independent of a sense of guilt that you may not want to be caught up.
He might have been scared. There might have been other, maybe he thought there were other perpetrators waiting outside. I mean,
sure.
Maybe
he's a convicted felon who's served a sentence and been released and isn't legally supposed to be in possession of a gun. So he's looking at a 10-year federal felony if he's caught. With the shooting itself could be perfectly lawful, but the gun possession could be a serious prison sentence for him. And by the way, I'm among those who I don't think there should be a prohibition on felons having guns. I think felons, if they're dangerous to society, should be kept in prison. Because once they're out, they can get a gun no matter what the rules are. They do. So the prohibition is ridiculous. And if someone served their sentence and we believe we want to reintegrate them back into society, well, I think we should give them all their rights back so they can be reintegrated back into society.
But Andrew, the problem there is that our prison system is not rehabilitative at all. It's not a place where people go to get well and they actually become better criminals while they're in jail most of the time. And that's upsetting to me because I agree with you that I think the way felons are treated after they're released is terrible. By having to always put that on your application, how do you get a job? I know people who have convictions on their records and cannot get a decent job. And this is like conviction from when they were 19 years old or whatever. Now they're 45 and their entire life is screwed because of a felony conviction in 25 years ago.
Yeah, I just think self-defense is a natural right, a human right, and I don't think you lose that privilege because sometime in the past you committed a crime.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. Well, I hope that he is not put in prison. I actually think the right thing to do in this case would be to just have him take more classes, go back through the training again for the because he did the right thing. He did the right thing. He protected people in the taco shop. It's just that for some reason he went overboard and he needs more training. That's all.
Well, he probably thought what he did was lawful. I mean, that's true in most of the cases I work on. The client thinks what they did was lawful. They don't know. He probably thinks that, hey, it's an armed robber and I can shoot him as many times as I feel necessary. But that's not what the law allows. The law says once the threat is apparently neutralized, it's your privileged use force is ended. And when this guy's the bad guy, see what happens is, this is kind of a reverse of the Aaron Dean case. Aaron Dean was a trial that just wrapped up, was a Fort Worth police officer who shot a Tatiana Jefferson in her home. He was investigating an apparent burglary. She was raising a gun. She probably thought there was a prowler outside, and he shot her when he saw the gun. So it's a bad outcome case. And when you have a bad outcome case, people, non-lawyers, normal human beings, they respond emotionally to these tragic events. And that doesn't make them bad people. It makes them normal people. It makes them normal human beings. But when you have a case like that, where it's a bad outcome case, nobody wanted a Tatiana Jefferson dead, least of all Aaron Dean, the police officer involved. When you have a bad outcome case, people lose sight of the question of, but was it legally meritorious? Even though it was a bad outcome, doesn't mean it was a crime. In that particular case, I don't believe it was a crime. I think Aaron Dean's conviction was unjust. But because it's a bad outcome, people look for someone to be held accountable. They want someone to answer that outcome. Here we have kind of the reverse of that, where we have arguably a good outcome. I mean, no innocent people were killed. The armed robbers,
other than the robber,
died. So people don't want accountability because the outcome was good. But the Venn diagram between what's legally permissible and what's a good outcome, they overlap, but they're not a circle. So it's quite possible for us to desire a certain outcome, desire, for example, that this defender not face any criminal charges. And the prosecution may do that. I mean, there's political decisions that need to be made in these kinds of cases. But it's two separate questions. One is, what is legally permissible? That's the legal analysis part of the question. That's what I focus on. The other is, what's, you might say, morally permissible? What do we feel emotionally that it's a good outcome? And many people do, and therefore they want this to be lawful. They want it to be legal on an emotional level. But that ninth shot, folks, that's not lawful.
No, it's not. And look, I want to address this question. Andrew, maybe you can. It says, Meghan, you're completely discrediting natural human emotion. Someone points a gun at you and you get angry, you react. People aren't calm and collected when guns are pointed at them. And I think my response is, that's why I say more training is necessary. If you're going to carry a gun in public, if you are going to conceal carry, you must be well trained. Am I wrong, Andrew?
You're absolutely right. And listen, we could, in theory, live in a society that says, hey, if somebody scares you and you get emotionally upset, you're allowed to shoot them as many times as you want. But we don't live in that world.
That doesn't make sense.
Right. The use of force law does not allow you to shoot somebody as many times as you want because they've upset you or made you scared or threatened you, even if the threat is over. You're allowed. It's an amazing power that we have, this use of deadly force in self-defense. We have the privilege to take a human life without having to ask anyone's permission beforehand in an instant decision. But that power is highly constrained by the circumstances. Once the threat is neutralized by whatever means or events, your privileged use force is over.
Yeah, and I think my concern for this case is all about the shooter. I'm concerned for him and what's going to happen to him. And I think the reason why we say, take the law of self-defense classes, sign up on Andrew's website, go and find out if you're carrying,
get the book for free,
need to
folks.
know this. You can get the book for free. You need to know what the law is.
Free book.
You need to know what the law is, because we don't want to see you go to jail for defending yourself. And Andrew's seen way too many of those. And we don't want to see that happen to anybody, not this guy or you or someone you love. So if you have not taken the classes, if you don't know the law, you must get it. You must know it. You must train and you must do it. I personally think that does Texas have a law where they have to take concealed carry classes, Andrew? Do you know? Is that required? I know it's required in New York and, Illinois, places like that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't do gun law. I do use of force law. So what's required to carry a gun, get a permit, what kind of guns, magazine capacity, those are all important things, but they're not things I cover because like
in Arizona, they do constitutional carry. So as soon as you turn 18, you can carry a gun. And I feel like that's good and bad in a way, because bad for
for situations like this, where if you haven't had the proper training, if you don't know the law, you can put yourself in jail for defending yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in putting any conditions on the privilege of law-abiding, mentally sound American citizens to carry guns, have guns for personal protection. I think I'm a Second Amendment absolutist, so I would certainly never be in favor of mandating any kind of training or instruction before a person can have a gun to defend themselves, defend
Yeah, I
their
don't
family.
like the mandate,
But
I also
having
like
said that,
to have it available.
It's a bad idea not to do that, folks.
It's a bad
It's a
idea.
bad idea. You're creating unbelievable legal jeopardy for yourself if you're carrying
Liability.
that gun and you don't know what the rules are for its use.
Yeah, it's a big liability to be taking on without knowing what the law is. Yeah, I don't like it when the states mandate this stuff and then they charge you. They also charge massive amounts of money for it.
Right,
So
it's
like
very expensive.
It's very
Right.
expensive to take these concealed carry classes. And I think if the government is going to mandate them, they should be absolutely free, by the way, not $300, because then that puts a cap on who can carry a gun, because it's about who can afford it now instead of
Right.
about who wants to, which is completely, I think, should be illegal, but they do
And
it
the people
anyway.
who most need it are people who live in dangerous
Of
communities,
course.
and they're likely to be the poorest among us.
Of course. So what are you covering recently, Andrew? What's coming up next for you? What are you doing on, are you covering any cases lately, or what's going
I've
on?
actually been on vacation the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been covering much of anything. But we have upcoming 2 weeks from today is the start of the murder trial in the what do you call it? The take your swing, I doubt it, mattress dumpster case down in
I don't
Texas.
know about this case. I just read a little bit about it. That's going to be interesting. Tell us about that. That's going to be interesting.
So this is a case, as most of these cases are, where everyone involved is a moron. But you had a gentleman, a steroid, looks like he's steroid. I don't know if he took steroids or not, but he looks like he's a steroid-taking, big, giant, muscular guy. Apparently attempted to dispose of a mattress by a dumpster. And two gentlemen took offense to this. A father and son took offense. The Michaels, are I believe is the last name, took offense to this, and they challenged this large man and said essentially an argument, a verbal argument started. But the father was armed with a pistol. The son was armed with basically a lawful sawed-off shotgun. And
a lawful sawed-off? Is there such a
they're
thing?
Not, yep, they're not all illegal.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
I think this one's called the Shockwave or something, but it doesn't have a shoulder stock. It's just a pistol grip and a relatively short
the
shotgun
pistol
barrel.
grip. Okay, I've seen that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so they start yelling at each other, and the big guy says takes offense because he feels he's being threatened with firearms in front of his wife. His common law wife is standing beside him. She's the one recording the events on her phone. That's why we have video of this. And the father and son are basically daring this guy, goading this guy, provoking this guy to go ahead, take a swing. They're both sides are threatening each other with death. I'm going to kill you. And ultimately, I guess the muscular guy does take a swing, and he gets shot and killed by the father and son. The father and son have now been charged with murder, and they're going on trial 2 weeks from today in
What
Texas.
Texas. Okay. So that is going to be interesting because Texas has, boy, it sounds really dumb to bring a gun to a mattress fight. What in the world? Why would you want to be threatening people over throwing out a mattress in the first place? Seems kind of silly. But oh well, we'll see, I guess. 2 weeks. Is it going to be televised? Is this going to be streamed?
I sure hope so.
If
Normally they are. I mean, most of the like the Aaron Dean trial, the Fort Worth police officer trial, that was streamed. The trial involving not Kim Potter, the other woman who shot the gentleman in his apartment. She walked into the wrong apartment by accident. A Dallas police officer, female.
Oh, right.
I'm blanking on her name.
name too, but I know Breonna Taylor.
No. But that was televised. So most of these high-profile Texas trials are televised. So I expect this one will be as well.
Lily
I mean,
has
if it's not, I can't cover it. So.
Lily's got a super chat question for you. Andrew, I'm only interested in constitutional law class. I could not find that on the site. Please tell me how to do that on your website.
I'm not sure we have registration set up just for that class alone. We just recruited the professor for our constitutional law class. That's at American Law Courses. Those are our AmericanLawCourses.com. Those are our law school level courses that we're offering to the public. And generally, we don't start offering so you can sign up for the whole curriculum, all 5 or 6 courses that we have in the curriculum, which would be criminal law, evidence, property, criminal procedure, criminal justice, constitutional law, or you can sign up for classes one at a time as we recruit the professors for them. And constitutional law, we just recruited the professor, so you should be able to sign up for that standalone class within the next week or so.
All right.
But frankly, I think it's crazy not to take them all.
X-Comer wants to know, Branca, is there any issue with the person sitting in the line of fire behind the robber on the 4 first shots?
No, everyone always dwells on this, I guess, because it's kind of one of the 4 rules of firearm safety, right? When we're shooting for fun or marksmanship, that you have to know your background and what's, know your target, what's behind your target, what's in the background, what's downrange. So you're not just shooting at a target and rounds continue downrange and hurt an innocent person. But when you're shooting in self-defense, what the law would call this, being inattentive to your background, would be recklessness, would be creating a risk of death to innocent people. But recklessness is when you're creating an unjustified risk of death, like drunk driving, right? You get drunk, you get behind the wheel of a car. You're not trying to run anybody over. You're just trying to get home from the bar. But of course, you're drunk and you end up running over a pedestrian. You didn't intend to kill that person, so it's not murder, but it's a reckless homicide. You knowingly created an unjustified risk of death and you ultimately killed somebody. That can happen with a gun too. That's what happened in the Alec Baldwin shooting. He pointed a real gun at a woman and without making sure the gun wasn't loaded and killed her. That's classic recklessness. There was no justification for him doing that. But in a self-defense scenario, you have a justification for creating the risk. So it's not recklessness because it's not unjustified. Is it better if you can, try to make sure that there's not people downrange? Yeah, but generally speaking, in a real self-defense fight, remember, one of the elements of self-defense is imminence. You're facing a threat of deadly force that's actually occurring or immediately about to occur. You don't have time to do an in-depth analysis of what's downrange, unfortunately.
Kizzy, thanks for the super chat, says, did the robber move prior to the last shot? I didn't see him move.
Not in the video.
We don't know if that's going to change. The story's going to change. Joseph, thanks for the super chat. Sorry, it took me a while to get to it. Says the monarchy is a 1,000-year institution which more than pays for itself in tourist money. I also like the head of state and head of government being different. We had a monarchy conversation earlier. We were talking about Harry and Meghan and Harry's crazy book that has come out and is just making everyone so angry.
Hey, if the UK likes their monarchy, they can keep it.
They can keep it. That's right. They can keep it. I think it's kind of funny, though, that an American has done so much damage to the monarchy. That makes me laugh a little, even though I don't want anyone to be, I don't want them to be miserable and sad.
I saw a funny exchange. It's probably fabricated, but the idea was it was an American complaining to the Brits saying, hey, you got to take this guy Harry back. We don't want him here. And the Brits respond, hey, you broke him. You buy him.
Oh, we had 2 pages of his book read today by my producer, by Leah Gio. It was hilarious. She's Australian, so the accent was fantastic. And it reads like a Harlequin romance novel, this fight between him and his brother. It's just absolutely hilarious. Do you have any brothers, Andrew?
No, 2 sisters, but no brothers.
2 sisters. Okay, so you understand sibling rivalry and that kind of thing. The idea that Harry has written this salacious thing about getting into a fist fight with his brother, expecting people to recoil in horror. Everybody's been in a fight with their brother or sister, like every single person it just makes me like William Moore. Oh, he decked you? You probably deserved it.
It's all a clown show, but people like clown shows. They like these reality TV shows. They like Real Wives of LA or whatever those shows are. They love this kind of nonsense. And this is just a real world version of nonsense. But hey, it's got a lot of entertainment value, stuff for people to write about and talk about. And as people are enjoying it, it's just it's a clown car.
It has huge entertainment value. People really do like it. And by the way, you guys, sign up on Locals right now today, meganfox.locals.com, because later this evening, I'm doing the second, we have 3 more episodes of Harry and Meghan to watch on Netflix, and we're doing it together. Not all 3 at the same time, but we're going to definitely start that back up tonight. And I will be announcing what time on my Locals page. So if you are not following me on Locals, get over there and do that so that you don't miss out on movie night with Meg, because
it's always a hilarious time. Andrew, one of these days you're going to have to come watch a movie with me sometime. It'll be fun.
So how do you do that? Are you able to like show the movie?
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't give you a hard time about that? There's not
No, because
copyright problems?
it's a private stream, so it's not broadcast anywhere. It's just a
Oh, I
private
see.
stream, just for
Okay.
my locals, bros. And I would love to have you come and watch a movie with me sometime. It would be fun.
Oh, sure. Let me know.
I will. So what else is going on? Do you have anything else coming up? you
The
want
other
to
big
know
trial
about?
that'll be coming up probably within the next few months is the OnlyFans model who stabbed her boyfriend to
right.
death down in Miami. So they just had a lengthy series of hearings for trying to get her pretrial detention released so she could be out on bail. But that was declined back in October. I think the judge made the ultimate decision not to grant her bail in November. And in February, early February, I believe they're having what they call a status update hearing. And that's probably one of the last pretrial hearings before they schedule the actual trial. So hopefully the trial will happen in, who knows, April or some kind of time frame like that. That'll be a big one because the only two people in the room were the OnlyFans model and the boyfriend that she killed. The testimony, the statement she gave police. By the way, she talked to the police without a lawyer present. Folks, don't ever do that.
Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that.
She made statements to the police that are very difficult to give credence to, so that really undermines what might otherwise have been a credible claim of self-defense. There's video footage of her committing basically domestic violence upon the boyfriend in elevators and elsewhere. It's not the first time she stabbed them, by the way. She stabbed them previously. So she's got a history of violence towards him. So it's the facts are ambiguous. In one sense, she can claim self-defense, and who's to say otherwise, right? There's no other living witness, except, of course, there's forensics evidence. There's prior history evidence. I will say that she's got
that interrogation was whack. She seemed like a big time liar to me. She needed a lawyer, but people don't. How do they not know? Don't talk to cops. Shut the fuck up. Don't.
They all think they can talk. They all think they're smarter. It's very much what I call Columbo syndrome. The cops, when they talk to you, they don't tell you they're doing this, but of course, what they're doing is an interrogation, and it's not waterboarding. Yes. They're not putting the bright lights on you, hitting you in the head with a telephone book. They're just. It sounds like they're having a pleasant conversation. They just want to. Can you explain what happened? We just want to get an idea of what happened here, and it's very polite and very conversational. But they're killing you. They are trapping you with your own words, and they're very good at it. They're extensively trained. They're very experienced. They come across as very personable and affable and kind-hearted, but they'll put you in prison for the rest of your life. If you say the wrong things.
Did you follow the Daniel Holtzclaw case? Did you see his interrogation? That was the police officer who went to prison for 263 years for alleged sexual assault of like 13 women, and several of them have recanted their stories now, but his appeal got denied. Do you know about this guy?
No, I didn't follow it. Not a use of force case. So.
His interrogation, he doesn't ask for a lawyer either, and it is outrageous how bad it is. And I can't. And the whole time you're just going, "Oh God, call a lawyer! Please call a lawyer! Please." He's so clearly being honest. You can tell he's being honest, but they are just leading him down this path where it's just. I one of these days I'm going to watch that interrogation with you guys on one of these streams because I'm so mad about it, and I know it's several years old now, but I just found out about it. Michelle Malkin did a whole thing on YouTube, which is great to watch, about how the evidence in the case does not line up with a guilty verdict. And he got 263 years, Andrew, for something. I mean, murderers don't get that long of a sentence.
Yeah, no. And folks, innocent people get convicted all the time. So don't think just because you're innocent, it means it's safe to talk to the police without a lawyer present. It's never safe. It's extremely dangerous.
Extremely dangerous. They want someone to go to jail, and it doesn't matter if it's you. Andrew, thanks for being here with me today. I appreciate it. I will. I'll let you go. I know you probably have a lot to do.
Always busy, but it's always a pleasure to be here with you, Megan. Feel free to reach out anytime. You could use whatever modest expertise I can bring to bear on a particular question. And to everyone else, I'll just remind all of you, if you carry a gun or have a gun, so you're hard to kill, so your family is hard to kill, that's why I carry a gun. You also owe it to yourself to make sure you know the law So you're hard to convict. Get our book, Law of Self-Defense Principles, for free. For free. The book, look at Amazon. The book's on Amazon, 5-star rated, over 1,200 reviews. People like the book, but don't buy it on Amazon. They'll charge you, I think, $25 plus shipping and handling. We'll give you the book for free. We do ask you to cover the shipping and handling, but we'll give you the book for free. We'll eat the cost of the book. You can get this at lawofselfdefense.com/free book.
Excellent. Thanks so much for being here, Andrew. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care.
All right, everybody. We are gearing up. Well, let's see. What do we have going next? So here are the things coming up. Tonight, I want to do a movie night with Meg. We're going to do Meghan and Harry, the Netflix thing. We have 3 more episodes to go. We'll get through 1, maybe 2 tonight. I'm going to announce what time that'll be on my locals, meganfox.locals.com. Make sure that you subscribe over there. Make sure that you're following me there. If you don't want to subscribe, if you don't have the money to subscribe, email me at meganfox.writer@protonmail.com, because I have someone who has donated some 3-month free subscriptions to people who cannot afford it but really want to be a part of my locals group. So if you email me and you tell me, you know what, I just can't afford it right now, I'm going to send you a promo code so that you can get that for free for the next 3 months. And one of my locals family has just been so kind to gift some subscriptions, and he wants to give some away to some of you who would like to have them. And you can follow me on Locals for free, and you're going to get all of my notifications, which YouTube doesn't give you because they're big tech and they're bullshit. Let's get to the super chats. I have a couple of those still to read. Oh, wait, I guess I got to all of them except Puppy Jack. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, Puppy Jack. Super chats mean a lot to me, you guys, because otherwise I am doing this for nothing. And you know what? That's probably not a good idea. Okay, what's coming up? Oh, thank you, Sinbad. My locals promo code SQUATS gets you 2 free months when you sign up for a year. So make sure you use that promo code SQUATS to join the Squat Squad over on Locals. And we're having so much fun there, by the way. Locals is a great place. There's no censorship. We are allowed to do and say whatever we want over there. They are so awesome. I actually have an actual person who helps me out at Locals, who actually returns my emails. And actually, I've seen him in person. It's amazing. I have a person who helps me at a big tech company. It's incredible. But if you are on Rumble right now, don't forget that there is a Locals button for you to hit to join my Locals right there. You just hit the little red button that says Locals, and you'll be taken right over to my page straight from Rumble. It's an amazing little button they have there. I thought I had a picture of it. Maybe I got rid of it on accident. No, there it is. So right here on Rumble, you see that little Join Locals red button. All you have to do is click on that. It'll take you right to where you need to go, and you can be there. Now, you can follow me for free there. You do not have to pay if you want. I have a lot of free content there as well. And also, don't forget to sign up on producer Leah Gio's Locals page. It's free right now. Leah, I'm bringing you back in. What's the promo code you're using right now?
Sorry, I had to unmute.
No,
because I've got toothpicks like holding my eyelids open right now. So
she hasn't slept all night. We have been up.
No, seriously, I haven't slept I've had about 6 hours sleep in 72 hours. So it's like you've got me in the Meghan Markle sort of, I'm on the floor and you've got the whip. There's this. Oh my word, someone's going to make a meme out of that. But anyway, isn't it great to hear from Andrew? It's just
always
just so good to have him on. And I love his content. Go over and check out Branca's channel I can't even talk. Look, the sun's rising. Shit's falling apart. I would come on screen, but I look like a disaster.
Oh, no, you're good. Flux, thanks for the super chat. Says, I guess I'll sign up for Locals. I'm trying to spend my cigarette money on other things to get me to stop. Hey, that's a great way to get.
Hey, good idea.
Terrific idea. I love it.
I've got a little issue with that myself at the moment. Yeah.
Meghan, she whips the news right out of you.
So the local, make sure you go over to the locals, the auto shop. What's it called? Now I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. The
God,
auto.
we're both losing our minds. Is this dementia, onset of dementia?
The local auto shop. Visit the local auto shop on locals because the membership is free right now using promo code
Nose.
Nose.
Because obviously this is where it all came from that. Oh, the
Promo
beautiful
code
birthday
Nose.
stream, you know.
Yeah, I want everybody to go on locals. And if you have not downloaded the app on your phone yet, please do this. When I tell you, I am watching locals more than I do Twitter, which is amazing. I go to locals first thing in the morning. I'm on there all the time. And I do post show streams. I'm going to do one today. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to go do a local stream, probably go and feed the chickens. So you guys will come along with me and check out the chickens. And let the dog run around for a while. Maybe I'll throw his new frisbee in the yard. It'll be fun.
That sounds really dangerous, Megan, for you out there in the paddock, in the wildlife amongst the chicken with the dog.
There are no snakes here, though, trying to kill me.
You sense the sarcasm in that tone.
Yeah, if Leah goes out in her backyard, it's like an exercise in terror and horror.
Between the deadly spiders, which are the white-tailed spider. Have you heard of that?
The white-tailed spider? No, I don't think I want to
know.
know.
Small and it is tiny, and it will put you on your deathbed. The redback spider. There's so many of them. Scorpions galore. We just live amongst it, and I don't know. I think we just adjust because we grow up here as kids, and we ride our pushies. Yeah, pushies. I'm a traditional Australian. I'll throw the slang around for you.
What's a pushy? I don't even know what that is.
A pushy, a push bike where you dink on the handlebars.
Dink?
You got a double dink on the handlebars. You know when you get a BMX bike. You're pushy.
Double dink. I don't understand.
Okay, so you've got a pushy. Your pushy is your push bike.
A push bike.
A bicycle.
Like a pedal. You're talking about push pedals? Is that what that's
As in a bicycle, like someone sits on and the pedals go around. There's two
Yes,
wheels.
I know.
Grass sits on the seat. It's got a set of handlebars and it's powered by your own body.
Yes, I know.
They also come in. You have a son. Doesn't he have a BMX bike?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not
well,
yet.
he's going to be asking for one soon. And dinking is when he puts a mate on the handlebars.
Oh, gotcha. See,
Right.
the word dink in my language, it means moron. So,
Oh,
like,
does it? No, moron means moron here.
my father will use the word "don't be a dink," and that means moron.
No, we say don't be a fucking moron.
Flux
many
says,
other things.
Thanks for the super chat. Oh my god, I love this woman and her nonsense words.
I know my words are just absolutely nonsense. I told you we just speak another language and eat Vegemite sandwiches. That's all we do here is just speak another language and eat Vegemite sandwiches. What can I say? But get on Megan's Locals. I really want you to check that out. And I do just want to pump the locals because honestly, as far as apps are concerned, a lot of people are, thinking these days that it's just another drama app or something like that. Locals is just something that is extraordinary. It's really needed at the moment. It gives everybody an ability to be able to talk amongst themselves more freely without so much of this taking our voice away and taking our speech away. And I'm just not for that. I'm for, people to be able to talk to one another and just communicate and bring some of that true humanity back into society. I'm over it. And it's not just here in Australia, it's not just in the US. This is now universal. And I truly believe passionately, pass the love forward, show kindness and just be, it's just really not that hard. There are so many people that are suffering, and if you can just show a smile to somebody in the street, you just never know. You might just save that person's day. So
It's true. And that's something that I've been loving my chat and my little community on locals because everybody is super supportive of one another. I do have a lot of women in my chat, although men, great opportunity for you to be outnumbered by women in my chat. So, you might want to join the community because we have so many ladies. Just
don't want
saying.
to brag or anything, but if you want to have a chat off my chat over at Locals is kind of filling up with a lot of the ladies, because I think we're all sort of reaching out for the same thing. We're not into the swipe left, swipe right campaign. We really want to have a conversation with somebody. I would dearly love for somebody, a man, to come up and approach me and actually talk to me, and that would take my breath away. The fact that he actually approached me. And I would not take that as an offensive thing. And I understand there is so much difficulty in the world, and there is fear, and there is all of these things. It is very real, and I acknowledge all of that. But I don't believe I'm going to be pepper spraying someone in the face for coming up and actually saying something nice to me.
This is a woman who deals with poisonous, deadly snakes with kitchen tongs. So I doubt that she's scared of a man. Like, I doubt that a man walking up to her saying, "Hey, how's your day going? Maybe I could get your number."
But this is two-sided. Don't forget, Megan. I think this is two-sided because women are a little afraid to go up and talk because we feel like maybe the narrative at the moment could be a little bit that we're not good enough. And we are good enough. And the men feel like they're scared to approach because of all of these things that are going on with, this Me Too and all these allegations and also self-confidence, I think, too. And we can all be better. We can all do better. And I really believe that. And I hope that, if somebody out there just needs a hand or if they need somebody to talk to, just pop into Megan, myself, and we'll be there for you as genuine and empathetic people, because the more we can do that and spread that around, I think this, the society really does need it. And I just take the time.
I played that clip the other day of Princess Diana saying, well, somebody's got to go out and love people. And that's the truth. Like, somebody needs to do that. And we should all be that. We should all try to be that for somebody else. Like, somebody needs to go out there and love on people. Because there's too much hatred and there's too much sadness and depression in this world, and everybody's looking for the same thing. Everybody's looking for love. You said something the other day to me. We were talking about how it's terrible to think of how some of these men talk about women who are divorced as if divorced women are somehow leftover and aren't any good. And that's not a true statement either. That's a stereotype as well. If they talk about their 6'6", 6 feet, 6 inches, 6 figures, but then they also are discounting an entire group of women who may, for no fault of their own, just be divorced.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I love all of the people that I follow, and I actually get a very good laugh out of the content at times, and I can take a good joke. But I did have to step away for a little while because it was starting to affect my self-esteem. So I was aware of that. So my own self-care, stepped back for a moment, and then came back and enjoyed the conversation, and just make sure that it doesn't let it get to you in that way if it does. And be strong, be brave, and keep going out there. And the men out there, you are worthy, you are good, you have something to offer. Do not feel afraid to come up and talk to a lady, and just a smile at her is just even the nicest thing. Just a smile. The probably the worst thing you can do is undress them with your eyes.
Yeah, don't do the up and down.
So onto that.
Don't do the up and down body scan. But here's a thing that I think is happening. And before we go, I'm going to put the challenge out there for this week, and you can put it up on the local auto shop on Locals. Here's the challenge for this week, because everybody's kind of forgotten how to socialize with COVID and all the standing on the stickers and being separated from one another.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers really just how to have like a conversation. Or how to break the ice. So here's your challenge. Here's your challenge.
Because I've got to break the ice thing up there at the moment to get the chat flowing, because I think everybody's too scared to, what do I say? How do I break the ice? What do I do?
Right. So here's what your challenge is for this week. And it's for everybody, not just single people, everybody. Okay. This is just an exercise for being more social. The next time you go out to the store, or wherever you go out and you see a stranger and you make eye contact and you smile and you give them a compliment, just someone.
anyone. If you can do it more than once, great. And then I want you to come back to the local auto shop and tell us how it went. What happened? Did it start a conversation? And it doesn't have to be someone of the opposite sex. It can be an elderly person. It could just think about trying to make somebody's day.
Same sex couples, whatever, like give a compliment and a smile, because I can tell you, I have walked up to men when I've seen them wearing, nice. Their hair might looks nice, or their beard might. I came out of getting a blood test, I think 3 weeks ago, and there was a man sitting there waiting in the waiting room. He had a very nicely groomed, big sort of Santa Claus beard, but he had actually groomed it into a fantastic style. As I passed through, I just said to him, that beard, it just looks fantastic on you. And he just smiled. And it was so nice to see that a woman was giving a man a compliment as well. So I think we also need to keep that in mind.
No, absolutely. We all need to work on our social skills, because they're really lacking. Try to remember how much you missed seeing other people's faces when everyone was still masking. And now that we can see one another's faces, try and see how many people you can put a genuine smile on their face today, or this week. Let's do it. Let's make this week, the challenge is go give a stranger a compliment, or more than one. And I want you to come back to the locals auto group and tell the locals, the local auto shop on locals, and tell us how it went in the live chat, because there's a live chat open right now, and you can go and become a member for free right now using promo code KNOWS. And I want you over there. I'm over there. I'm going to be taking part in that conversation, and we have a lot of fun things planned for that coming up.
We do.
Oh my gosh, Leah, we did it. It's 3:00. It's time to say goodbye. And I stayed on track.
You are wonderful. We will be here again tomorrow.
True Crime Tuesday.
Very exciting day ahead tomorrow.
True Crime Tuesday tomorrow. Yep. We have updates in the Idaho murder case. There's all kinds of things. Wait till you see what I have for you. There are interiors of the crime scene. We have an animation of the route that the car took. We have so much coming up for you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be right back here, and we will be here. Leah Gio and me will be here tomorrow. So take care, everybody.
Peace and kindness to all.
All righty. We'll see you again. Take care.
I was so lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices, oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say. This time I know my road is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye.
Johnny's problem is he should have come storming in there with a string of garlic and some holy water.
And a cross, a crucifix.
May the power of Christ compel you.
No, I don't.
He realized his house was infested with succubuses.
Of what? Yes.
Suck you loaders.
When you arrived in the afternoon. I don't remember saying it now. So while she
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.
Oh my God.
You-
Your next witness?
Now I know why you wanted to drown her.
And that
Next
is
witness
also
lives in
by
Romania.
video.
Is that correct?
That begins with Miss Vasquez.